Welcome to Yerba Talks.
Oh my. Great that you didn't hear that because it was just me. No, stop. No. No. No, go away. Sorry. Hold on. No. Ow. Oh my, sorry, he is extra. Oh my God. Ooh, damn feline. He bit my legs and I'm wearing shorts, so he bit like directly into my like skin. Okay, looks like he calmed down. Holy shit, that was painful. Hello, Isa. My fucking tattoo, dude. Oh, wow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Really good. Oh, boy. Isa, entertain the people. I'm going to get some paper to wipe the blood.
Okay, how are you doing? Just checking out if everyone's set.
Oh boy. All right. We are reviewing the second debate of Jvnior, and finally this is over because oh boy, I think he takes the prize on the worst debater of DebateCon 6. That he was just awful, completely awful. Earlier today, I was over at Craig's. We were reviewing his debate with Raquel Wilson. We will also do our debate here, but I want to finish reading her book before we actually go into that. So I can actually show and talk about some of the citations that she makes and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it will take me probably about a week or so. Before we get into what we came here to do, make sure to do the social thing is like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other, go to the corner, yes, the corner of your street, and yes, subscribe to Yerba Talks. And that way we can share the love for the channel. Before we dive in, Isa, would you like to tell, you watch this live, right? Can you hear me? You are muted, just in case. My arm. A huge gash here. Isa, are you there? You frozen? You have the stigmata. Isa, hello. You there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Before we start, you watch this live, right?
I did see it live. Yes.
Okay. What were your first impressions? Like, paint us a picture of what your train of thought as the debate progressed went by.
I thought it was hilarious. It was one of the most funniest things I've ever seen.
I mean, it's funny in the sense that it's like absolutely bad, right?
Oh, it was spectacular. Well, as you see, it's one of the best debates ever.
No, no, he's being sarcastic. It's actually one of the worst I've ever
Oh, it's the
seen.
best. Are you kidding me? The eloquence of, I mean, the eloquence that was stated, the facts, the evidence. Everyone here is going to want to convert to Islam afterwards.
Yes, that might
You know,
be.
the idea of that everybody is welcome to heaven if they become a
Mm,
Muslim. This is profound. Bringing up Palestine, that will bring people to Islam.
that would
Say
bring. Yeah.
Palestine 10,000 times, everyone's going to come to Islam. And
Oh
you know
yeah.
what? The most compelling case for Islam is just, the humility, the dignity, the nobility, all of these things we see in our Muslim debater tonight. And it's
Mm-hmm.
so impressive. It's so persuasive that everyone is just going to join up with Islam right now.
With a little bit of takfir sprinkled in there just for good measure, because we can never forget to do takfir. And for those of our friends that don't know what takfir is when Muslims say that other Muslims are not Muslim because they don't do as they say. And yeah, that is always fun. So, um, yeah. Basil starting us off for $5. Isa, who won on your most important metric? Who was most like Andrew Wilson
Um, who was the most impressive, like in this debate?
in this one? Yes.
Um, I mean, come on now. Junior just brings up facts. He talks about Christianity. Like he actually brings it up. He brings up, the compelling elements of Christianity. He talks about how his own family is Christian. And it's so persuasive. It's so compelling. No, I mean, I like all in all reality, he's very popular on X, and he brought the X vibe here. He brought an influencer's vibe to the debate stage, and
Yeah.
that's what you see. And apostate prostate, we hear that a billion times. Like that is it's a burn. Apostate prostate is such a burn.
Oh yeah, a
And our
career
good
ender.
friend, we have to hear about Bibi and Palestine and the conflict. That's a big important part of the stage here. I'm not even
Hmm.
joking. Like you will see it in this debate.
Oh yeah,
So, I mean, honestly, we know who won the debate. It's very clear who won the
it's
debate. I don't even need to say it. You'll see it yourself.
yeah. Megus Muir says, I saw a movie last night called Amityville Karen, where Sherwa Matetok's own Isa Kabir made a brief appearance. Were you in a movie called Amityville Karen? Or is this a joke? I can't tell.
I think it sounds like a joke, but
Because
I've
you've
been
done movies.
I've done movies, so yeah, it sounds like a joke. It sounds like it's probably like a debate where I pop up asking a question or something.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's get it on. Give me 1 second. Sharing here. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, wait. Hold on. Before we do that, we need to hear from our stellar correspondent. Please, Arwen, tell us what's on your mind.
And I still don't have a freaking 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, we still don't have. We're 23 away. We're getting there, but we need to squeeze that clip as much as we can before, because it makes no sense afterwards. All right, let me rewind. Let's skip the preview, and here we go.
Thank you, James. I hope my mic is loud and clear. Can you guys hear me? No? Okay, perfect. So today's topic is whether Islam is the true religion or not. So Christianity is not in the conversation. Thank God, because I'm not an expert in Christianity, but I am an expert in Islam. You know, people like Apostate Prophet claim to grew up Muslim. I grew up Muslim too. You know, he grew up in a Sunni Muslim household. I grew up in a Sunni Muslim household. I deviated.
Megas Mjork says Isa was an interviewee on a newscast in the end credits, for real.
Yeah, I was in a horror movie.
Okay. Maybe that one. Yeah, that's cool.
Deviated. But the difference is I came back. And the reason Muslims come back to their born religion, so whatever.
Remember that we were wondering what he was doing with the music when it's haram and so on. So apparently what I'm gathering here is that he had lived a life of sin and music, and then went back to Islam, which, okay.
Religion they were born into, Islam, when they deviate, is because the concept of salvation in Islam is really important. Muslims believe in heaven and hell, just like Christians do. So in Islam, when you look at heaven and hell, it is the ultimate destination. It is eternity. You're either going to spend eternity in hell or spend eternity in heaven. There's no in between. But God says, the one who has mustard seed of weight of faith in his heart will never enter hell. So with this debate, hopefully I can...
The monotone, I'm already bored.
You know, bring out this faith from my opponent, and I can also show you that Islam is the true religion. Because in the definition of the word Islam, there is the concept of Jesus' teachings. Jesus taught humanity, the lost tribes of Israel, the country that Apostate Prophet supports, right?
Wait, hold on, because I was going to do a little bit something. Where is my counter? Here we go. Boom. But we're not doing Lines Comeback Bastard. We are actually doing trauma dumps. And we're starting off with right there. That's one.
Jesus told Israel to do what? To submit to God. So when you look at Islam as a truth, it can only and only be submission to God. Anything outside of that is not Islam. It's innovation. It's heretics. It's people's free will. Something that Jesus never did. So if you ever see me as a Muslim acting in a way that Jesus never acted, that's not Islam. I'm going to prove that today. I'm going to prove to you that Islam is the true religion by proving that Jesus was a Muslim prophet.
Oh, not this. No. You're going to fail if you try to do that. Holy cow. Probing asked if Basil watched the FTF's review that we did a little bit ago. And Basil said, I saw that one live, couldn't relive. You have no idea what those live chats were. with the members from MDD. Basil and I had a blast during the whole day. it was just pure insanity, the stuff that people were saying.
By proving Jesus was a Muslim. This statement is very controversial. People are like, how come you use this word? You think the sheikh in Egypt who says to kill the disbelievers is like Jesus? No, I didn't say that. I said Jesus is a Muslim. This sheikh is a Muslim. But who's the one who follows Islam better? Jesus or the sheikh? Jesus. So Muslims are not perfect. They never will be. I'm not a perfect Muslim. I used to live a sinful life. I only came back to Islam because of my fear of death.
Oh, for fuck's sake. That's another trauma dump. And this is what I always say about this. When you come to a religion because you're either afraid of death or afraid of hell, or you want the reward, then your motivation is corrupted from the start. So how can you claim that that is a good thing when you're either only motivated to avoid hell or motivated to go to heaven, and not doing good for the sake of, for goodness sake itself? So it's just, this is just such a stupid argument. I dislike that immensely.
I came back to Islam because I knew one day I'm going to die. This world is going to leave me behind. Everything is going to leave me. When I saw my grandfather being buried and everyone walked away from the grave after 5 minutes, I was confused.
Oh boy! I went to a funeral, therefore I went back to Islam. Like, holy cow, dude, you need to go see a psychologist. This is not a group therapy session. This is not for you to just vent out your freaking traumas in a debate. It's a bad debate strategy, and honestly, and I'm going to yell now, no one cares!
I was like, I thought you loved him. I thought we were love. I thought that was the truth. I thought love was the truth. But even love fades away. The truth, it never fades away.
You get a ding for that, for abandonment issues. Like, dude, what are you going to do? Do you think you're going to just keep on crying forever? No. People die, you're sad for a while, and you need to move on with your life. And if you're so concerned about what happens to you when you die, you kind of said it. Yeah, the world moves on without you, just like the world went by before you were born. But you don't have anxiety about whatever the fuck happened before you were born. Why do you have anxiety over what's going to happen when you die? That is just absolutely stupid. It is actually, I don't know if you see it, but there's a white line that is meant to separate the both planes, but the actual image is cut up right here, and the white line is here, and that is like triggering my anxiety, my OCD, like super hard. Just just a little bit.
One of the biggest things, one of the biggest prophecies that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, made was that Islam is going to be here until the end of time, until Judgment Day. It's never going to go away. This was said 1400 years ago. Today, Islam is a religion of 2.3 billion people. Sunni Islam is 1.8 billion people. So the prophecy came true.
No, because we would have to live until the end of time for that prophecy to come true. I mean, it could happen that within the next 100 years, there are no more Muslims. So, no. If the prophecy is about the end of time, as you say, and I'm not sure, Isa, is he correcting what he's quoting? Isa? Hello? You're muted.
No. I'm good. It's wild. It's a wild opening.
Right, but is he correct in the prophecy, in the content of the prophecy?
What was the what was, I missed that last thing. What was that?
He said that Muhammad gave a prophecy that Islam would be on this planet until the end of time.
I think this is more of his narrative.
Mm.
I think one could do like an inductive reason, like a, what is it? Inductive reasoning, that one could make that argument, but it's not. It's more just like his kind of performance, if you know what I mean. This is
Yeah,
not like a. I mean, of course, every religion is going to say we're going to be here forever, and then you're going to see some points of that. But there was not a prophecy about that. And I
okay.
mean, it depends on what we're defining Islam to be.
Right.
But it's one thing I want you to all understand: none of this stuff is like backed up by Islamic scholarship. Not none of his arguments are. I just want you to know that.
Right.
So just as a heads up, this is
Yeah,
like
so
this is opinion corner. This is just
right.
his opinions. So
So
yeah.
when he said that he was an expert in Islam, I pressed X to doubt because I thought so. But
Well,
yeah,
did you hear what our wonderful moderator, our good friend, Dr. Kuhn said? He said, because he wrote that. He said he is an expert in Christianity and Islam. He is a diligent scientist. He said something like that. I was dying right at the opening. I don't know if we could rewind to that point, but that was hilarious when he said that. He said he is a diligent understander of Christianity and Islam. And he
ah,
used to do music, but now
yeah. But
he
now,
is
yeah,
back into Islam. Yeah.
gave up the life of sin, of just making some noises. I honestly don't understand what the deal is with music. It's such a weird, and I ask those Salafi Wahhabis to explain to me why do they see music as threatening.
But they believe in
Uh,
music. They sing the
well,
Quran.
in worship music, yeah, but not like regular music.
Yeah, but they believe in music. So it's a grift.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Come on, click. What's
Oh, we
StreamYard?
have a trauma dump counter. That's hilarious. That's
Yes.
literally what's, oh my god, I didn't see that. That's so funny.
Hijackers surprised to find, oh shoot, to find themselves in hell. The Onion, September 11, 2001, for $5. Thank you so much, Basil. I was in high school, but I was in first year of high school in 2001. So I do remember, but I don't remember that specific thing. And I didn't have the internet yet. Yeah, I was in high school and they made us go home, and I lived 3 blocks away from the Montevideo World Trade Center. So I remember the fear because I thought that it might be like a global thing. I was young, so a little bit of irrational fears there, but that's wild. um, So even if we grant him the content of the prophecy, you can't say that the prophecy has been fulfilled because we're not at the end of time. This guy has no clue what he's doing, like absolutely clueless.
Yeah, I agree.
In Islam, there are 5 pillars of religion and 6 pillars of faith. The 5 pillars of religion are declaration of faith. So you declare that you're a monotheist, one God. That's how you enter Islam.
And that Muhammad is his prophet. That's a very important part of the Shahada. There was a fringe group of Muslims that I came on, we came to cross paths on the MDD Discord. They call themselves the submitters. And one of the big gripes that group had with the Salafi Wahhabi Muslims was that their Shahada mentioned Muhammad. So they went around calling the other Muslims Muhammad worshippers because in their opinion, the Shahada shouldn't even mention Muhammad, which is a very interesting take on the internal criticisms that the different factions or the different groups have of each other. Did you ever run into those submitters, Isa? They were wacky. All right.
To continue living as a Muslim, you have to pray 5 times a day. You have to fast the month of Ramadan. You have to go and do pilgrimage if you can afford it. If you cannot afford it, it's not a problem. You have to give 2% of whatever you've saved up for the last year to the poor. And if your family is poor, then the best of charity is to your family. Don't these statements sound logical to you? Don't they sound like common sense? The best charity is to your family. Fasting is good for you.
No, especially since the custom is that they fast during the day and then they absolutely gorge and feast during the night. So that is, I saw during the month of Ramadan, there were a bunch of reports coming, and it was a big argument from the anti-Muslim Christians that is actually like quite bad for you. If you fast, say 12 hours, and then you absolutely gorge yourself, then it is counterproductive. So that's also, but I mean, I've seen, random posts about the greatness of fasting, but with it promotes fasting. So make of that what you will.
Declaring your faith in God is what brings you to reality. Islam is based on these 5 pillars: prayer, charity, fasting, pilgrimage, declaration of faith. Done. As long as you practice those 5 things, you don't really need knowledge to get into heaven. You don't need knowledge to earn salvation. You don't need knowledge to control yourself. Because
what the fuck is he saying?
Through prayer, you will learn discipline. Through fasting, you will learn self-restraint. Through giving charity, you will learn how to be empathetic. Those are true human qualities that are needed in America.
I don't think that's how that works. Like, you need discipline to be able to fast. You need empathy to be even willing to do charity. I think he has it all the way backwards. Oh my God. He's so dumb.
So when we come to debate about Islam, it's important to highlight these things. The 6 pillars of faith: the belief in one God, right? Belief in the divine decree. Not like my last opponent, because I'm doing 2 opponents back to back right now. This is easy.
No one cares. You accepted. And you're saying this is easy, but you got absolutely manhandled on the previous debate. And spoiler alert, it will happen on this one too.
For me, it's natural. I'm a Muslim. I submit to God. Religion is not compulsory to me. This is the truth. There's a verse in the Quran that says religion is not compulsory.
Oh my God. Okay. My guy, go to Iran or Iraq or anywhere in the Middle East and say that you're an atheist and that God doesn't exist. See if it's not compulsory. Like, that is just insane what these people, what this guy, I'm not going to generalize, what this guy is talking about. This is just insane. Yeah, it's the monotone. He is one of the least engaging people I've ever heard speak ever.
La ikrah fi din. There's no compulsion in religion. So anybody that is forcing you to convert religion, killing you, going to hell. In my opinion, I hope they go to hell. I hope to God that I don't have to be with them in heaven. I hope to God that they will never have access to me. I hope to God that everyone in the audience is safe from such people.
It's a contradiction in the book, my guy. That's it. It's full. Like all the religious books are filled with contradictions. That's how you explain that.
The UAE, Saudi Arabia, the top Muslim countries who invested in America trillions of dollars last year, are all saying, be careful of uneducated extremist Muslims. The Muslim Brotherhood, be careful, be careful. Be careful of people who are trying to force you into their religion. Be careful of people who try to force their beliefs onto you. Because those people do not want the best for you. Those people do not care whether you have the truth or not. All they care about is you obeying them. But in
That's all religion. It's a tool of social control. Always has been, always will be. There's nothing else to it. Leo says, isn't he supposed to be persuasive and interesting, not boring and lame?
Islam, we're told not to even bow down to our prophet. I'm not allowed to bow down like this to my own prophet. I cannot even praise him as divine. My own prophet, the one who taught me about God, the one who brought me to God, the one who taught me everything. My teacher is not divine. So does that mean that Islam is not the truth? No, it doesn't. Because the way I live as a Muslim, I speak the truth.
No, you don't.
I say Jesus will return. I say Jesus Christ is the Messiah. I say Jesus was born of a virgin birth from Virgin Mary. I say that Jesus was created by the command of Allah and that Jesus is the word of Allah. Jesus.
What language does Allah speak again? Oh, right, Arabic. But this guy was the one that said that one word had 40 meanings, which kind of contradicts the idea of the message of the Quran being clear. That it absolutely contradicts the idea of the Quran being the Arabic being a divine language. And we'll just leave it at that. Two contradictions are enough to debunk his argument.
Is the living and breathing word of God. Do you know what that means? That means that Jesus lived according to this book.
No.
Because what I'm trying to prove today is that this book is not in its current form, but it's in its Arabic form, is the Arabic literal word of God.
Nope. Wrong. It has factual errors. Like, oh my fucking cat.
Now, why would God choose Arabic to reveal the Quran? We will dive into that as well. Because Arabic is a language that, for example, Apostate prophet here will never understand. It's a complex language. If you don't grow up speaking it.
Yeah, it's an ancient language with all the limitations that ancient languages have. Mainly that they didn't have words for all the things. And that they have, for example, someone explained this to me, and Isa, you speak Arabic, so you might know how to explain this better. But someone explained to me that you have one word for lion, one word for old lion, and one word for young lion, and for tired lion. And all of these have the same kind of root, but they're different words. That they don't have what we have as nouns and adjectives. Right? Am I correct in that, Isa?
Yeah, there's and it's also different dialects. So the point is, there's not just one solid Arabic, right? You have different dialects. So he's like, well, I know. He talks about knowing Arabic. The Arabic of the current Arabic is Egyptian Arabic. It's called Fusha. It's an ancient classical Arabic that it's not like people speak this language. They have their own dialects, like the Egyptian Arabic, Yemeni Arabic. So
Oops. Looks
he has a big problem too. It's like, does he know Hebrew? How can he know like the ancient texts before this? The text that he's supposed to know. He's supposed to know the Torah, the Zabur, and the Injil. How does he read those texts? How do you know the knowledge of those texts?
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's not compelling.
Right. And Basil asked for $5. Thank you so much. Isa, who is the Bar Terman skeptical expert scholar on the Islamic side? Great question.
Like, who's the skeptic?
Yeah, like who is an actual like atheist scholar of Islam who is also like renowned and good?
You can look into Patricia Crone. Patricia Crone's a big. Most of the Orientalist scholars are. Dr. Joshua Little is not an atheist, I don't think, but he's a scholar in Hadith. He did his dissertation on Hadith, so there's tons of them. You won't hear most Muslims bring up scholars. Like Javed Hashmi brings them up a little bit. She brings up Patricia Crone. There's Michael Cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few scholars on Islam.
All right. You're coming in and out a little bit, so.
Okay. You will never be able to
Phone.
recite
I'm
Qul
sure I
huwallahu ahad, Allahu
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's because you're moving probably.
الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. You can't recite it so fluently, so fluidly.
Oh, my fucking cat. You know what it takes? It takes studying. Like, I could tell you the same thing, that you can't speak Spanish the same way that I can. This is just another silly argument. Another silly argument. And the one thing that I've used a couple of times, and I've stumped some people with this argument, is that I am bilingual in Spanish and English. I, with some effort, could create or can create a text that translates perfectly from Spanish to English and from English to Spanish. And I am just a human. So you're telling me the omnipotent creator of the universe couldn't give us a book that would translate perfectly in all of his omnipotence to every single language from here until the end of time? Then you are just bullshitting.
So effortlessly, unless you speak Arabic. This is not a limitation on humanity. This is not a restriction. This is not something that should deter you away from reading this book, because this book I have in front of me today is English. It didn't lose its meaning because it was translated. And the same thing with the Bible. The Bible doesn't lose its meaning when it's translated from Greek or Aramaic or whatever. It loses its meaning when people start to add verses to the book, when people start to say.
Again, why? Because they are from more ancient forms of language that do not translate literally. Like there are words that don't multiverse. We have two Isas, yes. It's because those ancient languages like Hebrew, like Greek, like Arabic, they don't translate exactly to our modern structures of language. That's why. And that is another indication that they're not divine. That is just a very high indicator that these are all man-made. Sorry, the filthy atheist is coming, but this guy just triggers me to no end.
I hear you. Let's get to his deeper arguments.
I don't like this, so I'm going to take it out. We don't have that in Islam. The punishment for that in Islam is literally like you're declaring war on God and the Prophet. When you try to...
he caught himself because he was gonna say like the punishment for that is we split your head from your shoulders, but he wants to come across as like relatable. Love that.
To change something from the Quran. The Bible, when people translate it, conveniently enough, you'll see some verses are missing, some things are gone. So in the Quran, we don't have this. And this is one of the things that Islam literally stands on. That no matter how hard you try, you're not satisfied with the Quran, no problem. There's a lot of Muslims who are not satisfied with the Quran. There's a lot of Muslims who look at the Quran as not even a divine source, and they call themselves Muslim. Okay? This is the truth. Your relationship with this book is irrelevant. This book didn't come to be your best friend. It came to guide you. It came to give you good tidings, glad tidings. It says in this book is only a warning to the disbelievers, not a threat, a warning. God is the most merciful. God is able of throwing all of us into hell. But why should God do that? Did God create us for that? God didn't create us for that. That's the misconception. People think that salvation in Islam is exclusive to Muslims. How about?
Yeah, it is. Just because you bullshit your way through the argument that if you submit to God, you're a Muslim, that it doesn't apply. Because, like, for example, he's saying the argument, and he gets disputed later about if you even have a mustard seed, which is a very tiny seed, of faith, then you will go to heaven. Like, I have 0. So I should go to hell, according to you. But that brings you to the problem of evil. You say that Allah is good, but then he would punish me for eternity for giving me a brain that would require evidence and not just reading fairy tales to believe in something. That is just another evidence that this is all just bullshit.
The man who killed 99 people. There's a famous hadith in Islam where a man kills 99 people. He's a believer of God, but he committed sins. U.S. veteran kills people. He goes to a priest. Am I going to be forgiven for killing souls? Yes, if you give your soul to Jesus Christ. Great. Christianity is great. There is salvation. But I have to give my life to Jesus. I have to believe in certain things. There's certain requirement for you to earn salvation. Is there a requirement to earn salvation in Islam? No. There's no requirement.
Liar.
Literally 0 requirement. To enter heaven, there is no requirement. All you have to do is attain God's mercy. God, who is watching us right now, listening to me speak. That is who I seek to attain the mercy of as a Muslim. I don't seek to conquer. I don't seek to be rich. I don't seek to control other people's beliefs. I don't seek to lie. I don't seek to deceive.
I don't seek to lie. He says while lying.
All I seek to do is please my Creator. Isn't there any truth in my statements? Isn't there any truth in what I say? The Quran came as a warning to the disbelievers, as a glad tidings to the believers. Rejoice. The fact that this book exists means that religion is not compulsory anymore. Nobody can tell you what to do. Do not have fear.
Remember that he said no one can tell you what to do. Like, remember that for just a few minutes later.
Do not be afraid. This book is proof that salvation belongs to everyone. Everyone, including Apostate Prophet, including myself. Even though he may not believe that I deserve salvation because I rejected the divinity of Jesus, because I didn't grow up in a Christian faith, because I didn't choose the Christian faith. That's the arguments he's going to try and make. But for me, I know one thing for certain. I'm going to die one day and I'm going to meet my maker.
No.
He's going to ask me, what's your book? This is the book. I'm confident in saying this is my book. I want to be judged according to this book. That is why Islam is my truth. If you want to be judged according to the Quran, accept the Quran as your truth. What does the Quran say? How do we get judged? The one who has a weight of mustard seed of faith in his heart will never enter hell. The one who has a mustard seed weight of arrogance in their heart will never enter heaven. Salvation is based.
That seems a lot like the book is telling you what to do, which contradicts what you said just a couple of sentences earlier, my guy.
On faith. But faith without works is empty. So Islam gives you the lifestyle to keep increasing your faith in God. No other religion gives you that. There's no other religion that gives you a lifestyle.
I don't think you can. Like, faith is a binary to me. Either you have faith or you don't. when we're talking about religion specifically, because either God exists or he doesn't. Whatever God that is, whatever God or gods as like a pantheon. So I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
So day to day, full routine, curriculum, scheduled, you don't have to think, just follow it.
There we go. You don't have to think. That's why this guy finds Islam so appealing. He doesn't have to think. It gives you a guideline for throughout the whole day. This is so embarrassing. So embarrassing that someone would come to a debate and say, yeah, you don't even have to think, just follow it and everything will be fine. That wasn't enough for me when I was 12. When my mom said, you do this because I say so, it's not going to be enough for me now.
And you do it. You're like, oh, wow, I prayed 5 times today. I prayed on time. Notification went on. I went, found the direction to pray. I prayed. I feel good. I did something productive today. I feel disciplined. What other religion forces you to pray 5 times a day? Not forces you, literally.
So the people force you? Are you forced to or not?
Yeah, he just faux pas. Yeah, they're very good. Good job, my good sir.
Someone sitting at your front door telling you if you don't.
And the story about that is, I find that story quite telling. That for those of our friends that don't know, when Muhammad goes to heaven, it was in the Al-Burak, which is said to be sort of like a flying horse or something, magical animal.
It's a mythological creature. That's right.
Yeah. Goes to heaven, and he basically negotiates with Allah the amount of prayers, and they have some back and forth because the amount of prayers that Allah really wanted, you would have had
50.
to be like praying all day long, pretty much. Right?
Yeah, we're supposed to do 50 prayers a day, and then he negotiates with the Hebrew prophet Moshe Rabbeinu Hagadol, or Musa Sallallahu Islam, where he debate, and Musa's like, you're not gonna be able to pray 50 prayers. It's like, you got to negotiate it, make it less, and then ultimately it comes down to 5. Actually, he was trying to go for less. He wanted to do less. He said people won't be able to do it. It's 5 is too much.
Interesting. And wait, you mentioned, so he talked with Moses, not with Allah directly.
No, yeah, he talked to the prophet. Yeah.
Moses.
So there was like a negotiation about the lessening of prayers. So it was supposed to be 50, and then it got negotiated to 5 ultimately.
Mm-hmm. Basil asked if Muhammad wore his seatbelt while riding the Al-Burak. It was magical. It didn't. It's okay.
Pray, I'm going to kill you. There's a misconception about Islam that that's the truth, but it's not. Nobody's going to force you to pray. But God commanded us to pray. So if we don't pray, it's a sin. It's a sin. If I don't pray, it's a sin. I have to admit it's a sin. I have to admit it's wrong. It's wrong to not pray. Isn't that the truth? In Islam, there are so many different routes that you can take to God. The route I chose as a Muslim is to submit to God alone. If I miss my prayer, if I sin, if I decide to leave my faith and not be a Muslim anymore, if I insult God, if I do bad things, I will never lose hope in Allah. I will never lose hope in the one God that created me. Why? Why should I? This book literally says, I came as a glad tidings to the believers. Do I believe in God? Yes, I do. Okay, what do I have to worry about? What do I have to worry about? If I believe in God, do I have to worry about what apostate prophet is going to say about me? No, I don't. So I hope this conversation is going to be productive. I'm excited to hear what my opponent has to say. Thank you very much.
Oh boy, yeah, it's not going to be productive, and we're already at 12 trauma dumps, and it's going to get so much worse.
We'll kick it over to Apostate Prophet for his opening as well.
Thank you. It's finally over.
Oh
Thank
my.
you.
That is one of the least engaging speakers ever.
That opening was not planned. It was just completely, it was ad-libbed. It was improv. It was a completely improv. I mean, I saw him walking around and I felt that energy. Like he's like, I'm just gonna come out and I'm gonna improv and do my Instagram. I'm just gonna make something. I'm gonna be authentic and it's gonna be amazing. And one of the issues that might come from this is that like Salafi people are not gonna like this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People who want to defend Islam, like they're gonna be like, how dare this person come and just say whatever they want,
Yeah. And in all of that, he gave us no argument. Like the only thing that could resemble an argument is this idea that salvation is for everyone. But he's wrong on that. He's wrong. He's just flat out wrong.
Well, from his interpretation, he would be. You could make like a mystical Islamic interpretation, and that opens doors a little bit more, like a mystical Christian interpretation. But his interpretation, he's quite conservative, as you'll see later on.
Mm-hmm.
So from a conservative Islamic perspective, this will not work too well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you don't believe in God, which is my case, and I've never believed in God, then how can, like, everyone means literally everyone with no exceptions, right? That's what the word means. You can't say Islam allows salvation for everyone when you have a group of people that won't get that salvation. That is just the way words work.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
I mean,
I think you're right.
It's your interpretation, though. Like, if you're taking a literalist interpretation, you're right. That's the route you got to go. But there are Muslims like Ismailis who would not think, they wouldn't have any certain consternation to atheists or anybody like that. It really is just how you... Javad Hashmi is correct. I agree with Javad Hashmi's interpretation of religion as an academic. Religion is neutral. It's how you interpret the religion. So,
right.
Yeah.
And I mean, one could make the case that I've never like stolen. I am generally a good person. I might have some wacky characteristics and say some off the cuff thing here and now, but I don't think I've ever done anything that would be deserving of hell in any of the religions. My only sin is that I don't believe in what I consider just myths, right? And I can't help that I am this way. Like, this is the way my brain functions. So if you go by that paradigm, this is the way God made me. And it wouldn't make sense for me to be punished for just being the way that I was made, right? So one could actually make the argument that in a kind of loose interpretation of some religions, that I wouldn't be necessarily going to hell. But if on the more stringent, I am doomed in all versions of every religion imaginable.
I would say
Right.
like the more progressive ones, you're not. It's always going to be the more conservative, like literalistic interpretations. Like, yeah, more progressive interpretations. Like, if you have a good heart and you live as a good person, that's what matters. So
Yeah, pretty much.
So it just depends. But from his point of view, you'll see at the very end of the debate, there's an interesting question that's raised. So just put that in mind.
Okay.
Um,
I'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. Good to see everyone here, and thank you for that opening statement. So the debate topic, as agreed, is...
Sorry, before I go, he has a shirt that says "fuck Hamas." I kind of chuckled at that.
Is whether Islam is the one true religion, right? Did I get that wrong? Yes, that's correct. So I don't have much to argue against here because there is not much that has been offered today. Has the question, I just want to ask everyone, you don't have to answer me. I want to ask everyone who is watching to ask this question and to answer it to themselves. Has the point today been made in this opening statement that Islam is the one true religion? I'm not going to answer the question. You can ask it to yourselves and you can answer it to yourselves. The answer is quite clear. There has not been anything demonstrated in favor of the argument that my opponent is trying to make here. Of course, he is a Muslim. He's convinced that Islam is true. He comes from a Muslim background. He believes that Islam is the truth. So to him, it is absolutely the truth. But I haven't heard anything convincing at all in favor of this argument. it's very interesting because he starts out with a verse or a statement from Allah, from God. He keeps mentioning this. He repeatedly mentions it, and I really want to figure out where that statement comes from. He keeps talking about a mustard seed. He says that nobody who has the faith of the weight of a mustard seed will enter hell. Please, can you point to me, when you respond to this, where in the Quran you find this statement? I'm really curious, where in the Quran is the statement? You take that statement from, not from Islam. You take it from the Bible. Islam doesn't have such a statement. What it does say is that every single deed of yours will be brought forth on the day of judgment, even if it has the weight of a seed or of a mustard seed. That's it. It never says that you will not enter hell if you have faith, the weight of a mustard seed. So already, when he appeals to what Allah says, he appeals to statements that do not even originate from within Islam. Yet he stands here or sits here and wants to make the argument that people misinterpret or misrepresent Islam, and that Islam is the truth, and he knows that it is the truth, and he has all the facts and all the evidence, and he can argue for it. The second thing is, he said at the very beginning of his opening statements that he is going to prove to us today, remember, that Jesus was a Muslim. Has that happened? You can answer me if you would like to. Has there even been an attempt to make that to make such a point? No. It's very strange to me because he said, "I'm going to prove to you today that Jesus was a Muslim." Then he didn't even.
And now he's like on his phone, playing Candy Crush.
Try to make that.
Oh wait, Brandon Worrell. Isn't an orchid seed smaller? It's a different argument. It's not the Nadir Ahmed argument that the mustard seed is the smallest seed. That's what the Bible says. It's that they get into that later. But it's that if you have a tiny amount of faith, then you'll go to heaven. That's his point. But it's not the scientific argument of the size of the seeds itself.
That point. So I have no idea what's happening here. Then he started comparing Jesus to Muhammad, and he said that Jesus was indeed a Muslim, and that if you want to be a proper Muslim, you have to be the way that Jesus was. And I don't remember the correct exact wording, but basically his implication is that that Jesus acted in alignment.
Oh yeah, woohoo! Happy Thanksgiving to all of our American friends. I hope you have a lovely time. And you know what? I'm going to do this. There's not that many of us right here, right now. But I wanted to ask, what do you think that we should do maybe something tomorrow? Give me 1 second. I'll put a quick poll. Engage with your audience. Poll. Thanksgiving stream, and you can put the stream on when you are on with your conservative pair, like family and so on, and we can start some shit up. All right, Paul is there.
With Islamic morality, and that if you do not act in alignment with Islamic morality, you are probably not following Jesus. All right, let's compare Jesus and Muhammad. So the foremost figure in Islam to be taken as an example by Muslims, which the Quran commands Muslims to follow, is Muhammad. So he is the perfect example for all mankind. In him, the Quran says you will find a great moral example to follow. Muhammad's deeds and actions and words are known as the Sunnah. Muslims are generally commanded to follow him and to imitate him. So let's compare it. Muhammad commanded and used violence on multiple occasions. He fought over 60 wars and battles. He participated in them. He engaged in violence. He started killing. When he emigrated to Medina, the first thing he did was to establish an army, basically, a militia, that he then sent out to harass and to raid tribes, which eventually led to causing the first major battle between the Muslims and the Meccan polytheists. Jesus rejected violence. He never fought. He didn't commit acts of violence unless you want to take the one instance of him turning over the tables as an act of violence, where he violated the tables. So Muhammad took many wives, including a little child. He was very, very much obsessed with his desire. As the Quran also points out, the Quran says this is to make it easier for you, Muhammad. And Aisha, even according to the Islamic narrations, says that Allah hastens to fulfill his desires. Muhammad, according to the traditional Islamic sources, took multiple wives, including a little child who was 6 years old when the marriage was done, and 9 years old when the marriage was eventually consummated or fulfilled, meaning he had sex with her when he was in his 50s and she was 9 years old. What a sight. Muhammad approved of sex with captives. He took captives himself. He had sex with them, including killing their families and then taking them as captives and having sex with them and marrying them and giving his followers also such captives. Jesus never did such a thing. Muhammad enforced rule by political and military power. Jesus refused worldly power and gave himself up. Muhammad killed his critics and war captives. Jesus forgave and prayed for the enemies and said, turn the other cheek. He said, forgive those who persecute you, love your enemies, and so on. Muhammad gained wealth through conquest. Jesus lived poor and told those who follow him to sell and to give away whatever they have and to come and follow him. So if you want to make a comparison between Islamic morality and Jesus, you're going to fail from an Islamic perspective. If you're going to argue that Jesus and Islamic morality are completely opposite, are completely different, are completely contradictory, that's where you have a point. And that's the point we can make. The thing is, I don't really, it's not very much relevant to the topic at hand here, so I'm not going to go further into it. He said that Christians worship, a figure, a man. In his previous debate, he emphasized that a lot, whereas Muslims do not worship any.
I mean, so far, AP is kicking ass, but he's doing the one thing that we usually advise not to do, which is going straight into rebuttals. It would have been a little bit more to my taste if he would have gone more into an actual opening than just directly into rebuttals. Because right now, the only thing we've heard is counters to the lack of arguments from Jvnior, right? But not an argument per se. And even though he is actually kicking ass, there is something missing. It's like, what's your case for Islam not being the true religion? For $5. Basil says, did you trim the beard in honor of this review? No, actually, I had to cut my Islamic beard because it's so hot right now in Montevideo that my neck was sweating all day, and I was like, yeah, no, so I went to the barber and got a little bit of a makeover. I'll keep these like this for the summer, but it will be coming back in about March, April. I'll leave it long and I'll see how long I can grow it through the winter. My dream is that I get to debate Daniel Pikachu, and I get to actually make the argument, I am right because I have a better beard than you.
Anybody, they don't bow down in front of anybody. They're not allowed to bow down before Muhammad. The thing is that Muslims also go and kiss a rock, which Muhammad commanded them to do, basically, and he himself as well did, and hope that this rock will testify for them on the day of judgment, to expose or conceal their sins and to reveal how pious they were when they did the pilgrimage. They circle around a pagan cube, the Kaaba, which is a very, very interesting thing to stand on for a second. My opponent here tries to draw a connection between Islam and Christianity and Judaism. I went through his posts before where he argues that Islam is the original Judaism and Christianity, that the Bible is or Judaism and Christianity were originally Islam, but then they got corrupted by man. Okay, let's talk about the Kaaba. The Kaaba is a building that nobody had really heard of until the 7th century or until the 8th century, when Islam started emerging and rising as a power. Prior to that, Abrahamic religion, Jews and Christians, had no connection whatsoever to that cube. No mention. It is never mentioned in the Bible. It is never found in any historical context related to Christians and Jews. It is completely foreign. However, according to the Quran, the Kaaba is the first house of worship dedicated to Allah, built by people, built by Abraham and his son. Unfortunately, the reality of it is that the Kaaba was, like many other buildings throughout Arabia and throughout the Middle East, a cube-shaped building that was dedicated to a different deity, in this case to Hubal, one of the polytheistic gods that the Meccan polytheists worshipped, which comes from a different Middle Eastern religion. Even according to the Islamic sources, there was another such building known as the Dhul Khalasa in Yemen, also known as the Kaaba of Yemen, which Muhammad actually had destroyed during his lifetime. According to Islamic traditions, he sent over one of his followers to that Kaaba, that white Kaaba, and had it destroyed, and that person also killed everyone around it. So Islam is based on a cube that Muslims circle around, which is completely disconnected from biblical religion and biblical faith, and actually leads back to pagan origins. It has nothing at all to do with biblical tradition and biblical faith, with Abrahamic religion. It is built on paganism. That's where Islam comes from. And that's what they circle around. Now, you could make the argument that Islam actually, yes, does forbid bowing down before Muhammad and worshiping Muhammad, but we all know how it ends when somebody says something disrespectful about Muhammad. I mean, if I, for example, now here called Muhammad a pedophile, for example, I'm not doing it. I'm just saying, if, for example, I did it, this could immediately invite.
The Kaaba argument, I think it's in his opening the best argument, because he is actually correct in that. I mean, every historian that I've seen around talking about that detail the pagan origins of the Kaaba. And we also have examples of the Christians doing that very same thing, repurposing temples for Christianity, temples that were from the pre-Columbian societies in all over Mesoamerica. They just grab the buildings and repurpose them, but when they are up for remodelation and so on, you can find some of the patterns in the walls that were left there by the original creators of those buildings, which were the Mesoamerican natives. So there is historical precedent for this. Before and after the repurposing of temples. So I think that is, from his opening so far, the best argument. Tay asked, how does it feel to be in the southern hemisphere with the northern hemisphere is gonna get hit by a polar vortex? I actually kind of like that. Uruguay is very fortunate in that we don't get snow, we don't get any natural disasters whatsoever, and the lowest temperature might be -5 Celsius. But it's because I hate the fucking cold. But yeah, we're getting some of the nice temperatures down here. If you see me, I'm actually red because I went out a little bit earlier for my walk today, since I had streams planned, and the sun caught me like for 20 minutes. And I'm already burned.
Threats and terrorist attacks and things like that. We know how it goes. I get it all the time. People are killed over this. People are killed because they draw cartoons. That's it. So it does revolve around him. Yes, you do not worship him. You do not say we worship you. We do not. They do not say we bow down before him. However, what he leaves out is that in order to enter Islam, in order to become part of Islam, in order to become a Muslim, to submit to Allah, you have to also affirm that Muhammad is the true prophet, the final messenger. I can ask him what the Shahada is. The Shahada is the fundamental statement that is uttered when you want to become a Muslim. It is part of the pillars of Islam. You have to utter it in order to become a Muslim. It does not say, I testify that there is a God and I submit to him. What it does say is that I testify there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. So this directly contradicts with what he just claimed. He said that if you want to become a Christian and you want to go to heaven, you have to believe and follow Jesus. Whereas in Islam, all you have to do is just believe in this, believe in this. Yeah, okay. What does believing in this entail? It entails that you also accept Muhammad as a complete judge, as an authority, as the final messenger, and as the Quran says, as the one whom you should not question and whom you should make a judge and authority over all affairs, together with Allah. So it is very much, although it is a monotheistic religion, also very much a religion where you take this other guy, this prophet, as kind of like a minor deity besides Allah, practically. He talked about Arabic being complex. I have no idea what that has to do with the topic, but it's actually quite funny because he says it is a religion for all humanity, but then he points out how
to whoever was wondering, he is actually writing notes in the Quran, and shouldn't do that.
Even as a former Muslim who recited Quran verses all the time, would find it too complex and would not understand a word of Arabic if I tried or something like that. I mean, it's a strange point to make if you also want to argue that Islam is a religion for all humanity, just so you know. But I can recite some Quran verses and some Quran chapters. If you want me to impress you, I can do that. What else? I think what summarized his whole position was a statement that he made towards the very end of his opening statement, which was he said that in Islam is very simple, because in Islam you don't have to think, just follow it. He did make that statement at the end. It's not something that I'm saying. I wrote it down. It's verbatim. He said it. You don't have to think, just follow it. I agree. That's what Islam is. I agree. Further, since there was not much to argue and I still have some time, I want to make a few points here. So the Quran, let's get back to the topic, since he didn't actually address the topic. Is Islam the one true religion? I will address only one verse in the Quran and rest my case with that. That verse is chapter 9, verse 30. It follows chapter 9, verse 29, which instructs Muslims to go out and fight those who disbelieve in Islam, who don't believe in Allah and His Messenger, to subjugate them. It then continues and says in chapter 9, verse 30, the Jews...
Isa, I've heard that that verse about find them and kill them wherever they are, and that the trees and the stones will snitch with that when they... Isn't that verse in the context of a war?
It's supposed to be the future. Yeah, the Gar country. It's supposed to, and it's like the Hadith. It's supposed to be like at the end of times. It's not supposed to be now. So
right, yeah. But it's also in the context of like a conflict. It's like a very specific scenario, because I've heard, and I want to be fair with like the criticism and so on. The verse does say that, but it's a very specific context, right? It's not just like, oh yeah, go and find the Jews and the Christians and the unbelievers and just kill them wherever they are. No, it's a very specific thing. So naughty. No, you should know better, AP. You can be honest. You can criticize without lying.
Jews say Uzair is the son of Allah, translated as Ezra. And the Christians say the Messiah is the son of Allah. May Allah destroy them. That is a statement that they took from those who disbelieved before them. May Allah destroy them. How deluded are they? Now, I went around Israel recently. I traveled to Israel took a quite long trip. I went around asking Jews in the streets, random Jews, the question, do you worship Ezra? They all had they had very, very funny reactions. Nobody had any idea what I'm talking about. It's because the statement, the Jews say Ezra is the son of Allah, is complete nonsense. That was created by Muhammad or his followers in the 7th century. And Muslims today struggle to explain what in the world that means. Muhammad probably misunderstood something from the Jews that were in his environment. So he thought that Jews worship and take Ezra, who is a prophet, a scribe, a very important one, as God besides Allah, that they worship him, that they consider him the son of God, just as Christians consider Jesus the son of God and actually worship him. And yes, we do. So this verse alone demonstrates and proves that Islam is complete nonsense, that it is completely false, because the Quran is supposed to be the perfect word of Allah. In fact, if I ask him, is the Quran the verbatim direct word of Allah, he will say yes. So the Quran is the perfect direct word of Allah, and the Quran makes the statement that Jews say Ezra is the son of Allah. Now, you could explain the context of it. I can explain the context of it as well, because we also have the supporting hadiths testified that Muhammad described what will happen on the day of judgment. Muhammad said on the day of judgment, Allah will call forth the Jews, and he will ask them, what did you used to believe? The Jews will say, according to him, we used to worship Ezra, the son of Allah. Upon which Allah will answer and say, you are liars, go to hell. And then he will call the Christians and they will say, we used to worship Jesus. And he will say, you are liars, go to hell. So Quran and Muhammad clearly affirm that Ezra is the son of God. This makes Islam completely false. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a strong argument. Any insights on those claims, Isa?
Well, so I want to engage the tactic. I mean, I think it makes sense why he took a rebuttal tactic, because the problem with these debates is you don't know what the information was. If he just did his own argument, it would lead to nowhere. You wouldn't actually have a deeper conversation on this element. So what he did is he actually introduced these are arguments that he's stated for a long time about Uzair. You could bring up the argument about Imran. It's Imran Amram. There's a lot of different arguments you can take. This is why the conservative literalist view is not very good in Islam, because you can't really deal with these types of issues very well. Yeah, and I think our friend here is a conservative, so it's going to be very hard for him to answer these questions. The answers he gives are not too good, and
No.
they are kind of flagrantly not true. The argument that you brought up about what he said, I think AP's argument is valid. To a conservative, they do believe that. There are a lot of them are anti-Semitic, they're anti-Jewish, and they will use that argument as they believe it's now. So I do think it's actually
right, but then
yeah.
1 second, because that the ones that say that justify, like the fundamentalist, more on the terrorist side, that use that verse to justify the killing of Jews and Christians, they are also lying because they're omitting like the whole context of the verse. So what I'm trying to say is that let's be honest in what that is supposed to mean, like on the overall context of the text.
Oh, I agree with you. I'm just saying I don't think his call of it is actually wrong in the context. He's dealing with conservative people that do believe this is true for now. So on this level playing field, it's a fair argument to bring up because, like you said, the terrorist people believe that it's now. So if someone brings it up and says, hey, you terrorists believe this, whether your position is true, which it is, it doesn't matter because they will use it as it is now. And we have to look in the reality of application of the material. So that's what I would say. So I think he's not wrong in making this argument because the problem is what we'll see is our friend Jvnior is putting on an act of being a progressive Muslim, right?
Yeah.
But is he really a progressive Muslim? Nope. Is he really? The arguments he made were all progressive Muslim arguments. However, spiritual progressive Muslims, will he be consistent with that position?
No.
Because it's a nice sounding position, but if you want to take the progressive Muslim position, you got to be consistent with it. when I argued for Islam, I took an academic approach. I said this group believes this group believes that, this group believes this. Because I take the position that Islam is polylythic. I think all religions are polylythic. I don't think there's a true Islam. I don't think there's a true Christianity. I think you probably agree with me on this. There's many different versions of Christianity and many different versions of Islam. So depending on what framework and toolkit you're using, that's going to inform the version of Islam or Christianity or even Judaism that you're going to implement, you know. But overall, I think in the context of this debate, he made a case. He said, look, I believe Islam is not the true religion because my premise is peace is good. My religion promotes peace. Let me take a comparison. My religion promotes peace. Your religion promotes violence. So how can your religion be true? And I think his most compelling argument, and it's an argument that's devastating to literalists, is the Arabic argument. I think you fail. If you believe this is the one true religion, why is there a gatekeeping? Why is there a paywall of a linguistic paywall where no one, if you don't know the language, you can't understand the religion? That's a problem. That's a major problem. And it's not something that's easy to overcome, you know, because it's not something that is accessible to everyone. People have to read translations to understand what the religion is. So how can I have real unfiltered access to the truth when I'm linguistically compromised? That's a problem, dude. And I think out of all the arguments, if he just focused on that, I think it would have been a killer. I think AP needed to focus on one argument. You know, I think he obviously his opening is far superior to Jvnior. Jvnior really just went in and said, well, I'm a Muslim. As a Muslim, I believe in the truth. I used to be doing bad things. I was doing bad things and sinning. But guess what? There's an afterlife. We're all going to die. And we're going to face our Maker. And to face our Maker, we need to return to the religion we were born in. I was like, that's funny. That's like the argument against Islam. You do realize in ancient Islam, that's what the indigenous Arab religions were taking. That was their position. They're like, we don't want to believe in Islam. We want to believe in the religion of our ancestors. So you're basically saying Islam has now taken on the form of indigenous Arab religions. That's like kind of the case you're making. And I think a lot of Muslims do believe that. They take the position that Islam now is the same thing as the indigenous Arab traditions. It's just the truth. But, you know, formatically, it's the same thing. It's like, my ancestors believed this, and their ancestors believed this, and their ancestors believed it. So I need to believe it, you know? And I find that to be ironic on many levels. But Jvnior's argument was like, my family for 700 days has been under genocide. 700 days has been under genocide. How can anyone understand what I'm going through? I've been under genocide. And I'm like, dude, I feel you, brother. Like, it's heavy. But I'm like, you do realize that lots of people are under a lot of pain and suffering. Like, you're not the only one. Sudan, Somalia, Syria, 51,000 people are being killed in Syria a year. That's far worse than what's going on in Gaza. We just don't know about it. We don't hear about it. But what's going on in Syria, it's horrendous, the body count that's going on there, you know? What about Bangladesh, where 1 million women are being trafficked a year? Do you hear Bengali people saying, oh my God, a trafficking, a terrible, I am suffering because of trafficking. You don't hear that. You don't hear these arguments. And it's like,
it's nonsense. I mean, one could transpose the argument that, you know, Mexico doesn't have a proper like religion, indigenous religion anymore, but one could say, oh yeah, the indigenous religions of Mexico are the best because they all got genocided. It's like it's the pain Olympics, and like honestly,
they call it the Special Trauma Olympics.
Yeah,
the Special Trauma Olympics.
I care about his pain on a human level, but on the debate sphere, and I will yell it again, no one cares.
And the thing is, when we're dealing with trauma and pain, the issue is you don't want to exploit it. You don't want to exploit your personal pain to get you points in a debate. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, you know? Imagine if you were a Jewish person in a debate about Palestine and Israel, and you're like, dude, Holocaust, 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 pogrom,
Right.
pogrom, pogrom. You would find that to be pretty tactless, right? Like that would not be a
Or
good
more-
strategy.
Or more applied, a little bit more analogous. Okay, which is the true religion, Judaism or Christianity? And the Jew just says, "Oh, Judaism is true because we got genocided in the Second World War." It's like, well, but that doesn't mean that your religion is true. It's just a trauma dump, and yeah, it's not an argument. Basil for $5 says, please propose to Dr. Coons for the DebateCon 7 at Liberty University. Is the flying spaghetti monster the true religion? Oh boy. It's going to be in Houston, Texas in February. We'll see how that goes.
Thank you very much for that opening, EP. We are going to jump into the open dialogue, gentlemen. I'm willing to give this a shot, let it be organic, but if there are too many interruptions, I will jump into time sections.
Thank you. Yeah, honestly, opening statement from Apostate Prophet. The audience saw it. He literally just read Chat GPT on his laptop. This is embarrassing, right? And
No, dude, no. Your opening was embarrassing, my guy.
the semantics that he comes with is so low
And you just got wrecked because he has a Word document open. Like, oh, how can someone be that dumb? Like, seriously.
IQ and so childish. Like,
Google document.
there's a Yemeni sect of Jews who believe Ezra was the son of God.
Yeah, but you can't make a general argument out of a particular, you dumb fuck.
Dude, this is not true. This is false. It's not even true. No Jews believe
Okay.
this. It's not even accurate. Google that now, and you'll see. It doesn't exist. He just made a claim. It's not true.
Honestly, it doesn't change the fact because he, like, the verses that
It says
that
the
frame
Jews. Yeah.
it says the Jews, right? But even if you found that fringe sect of like however many people that do believe that, you can't just make a general argument out of a particular, and that you don't even have to fact check that.
Or if you do, then you have to look at every single argument in the case as a particular and not a general.
And not
You
a
can
general,
never call
yeah.
Jews a general. They always have to be a particular. If we
Right.
grant that, then they must always. That's the argument I made when I was talking with MENJ and when I was talking with God Logic. I said, if we grant that, then the only way we can view Jews is as a particular. They can never be Jews as the general argument. Because if we take that case, then the Quran is false. So you got to be smart.
Right.
If you want to be a literalist, then Jews can never be a general. They always have to be a particular. That's the
Right.
only way to make
And
sense.
to add, like, he would now have to be held to that the Quran is talking about that specific sect of Jews every time, and no, because it's a more general thing. Like, dude, this guy, how can someone fail? And you know that we've seen flat earthers like completely fumble debates every which way possible, but this is just like this guy. What made him freaking decide that he could debate? Like, he has no skills whatsoever. This and of course, I mean, it is getting harder to actually get good Muslim debaters. But James, like, seriously, I could do a better job in Jvnior's position, and I don't even believe in that. Like, I could make a better argument for Islam without even believing it, and just because he has a bunch of followers, I don't know, that decision always baffles me. Like, for example, in the
Well, he
previous
thinks that he'll get more
DebateCon,
viewers, that Jvnior's viewers will come and watch this. That's the idea.
Yeah, but he's on Twitter. Let me point you to a certain debate between Raquel and Greg. I forgot what I was going to say. Let's go.
God used that example in the Bible to warn the Christians who say God has a son. There are many verses in the Quran, okay, that say it is not befitting for the most merciful to have a son. Cease from saying three. Do not say Trinity. Do not worship Mary and Jesus.
Oh my God. This is you know who made that argument against the Catholics? Flatsoid. And you know, if Flatsoid made an argument, you know it's incorrect. So the Catholics do not worship Mary by herself. They have reverence for Mary the same way. You can think of it as the same way that you have reverence for Muhammad Jr. The Catholics have reverence for Mary. They don't worship her to the same level that you would worship God or Jesus, right? Or even the saints. They are not worshipped. There is this whole thing about intercessionary prayer and so on, but that is just wrong. So you're killing the Quran. Every time you speak, you make the Quran appear more and more false. It's hilarious.
And I mean, it is really sad because Daniel really bombed his debate too. Like, it was really bad. Like, whether you think Andrew Wilson was being bigoted or prejudiced, I mean, he brought bigoted prejudice. If we grant that, he brought bigoted prejudiced arguments to a bigoted prejudiced stage. So it's like, you know, Daniel can't be angry, you know, and I think Daniel really ChatGPT'd that up. I think he ChatGPT'd that debate. I don't think he was prepared for it. And he didn't even know the argument. We'll talk about that debate later. But he didn't even know the argument that he brought up about like why IQ is more balanced was not true. It was not an accurate argument. Right. He just said the words because it sounded smart. Not that it was right, but you know, I think people really pitied that performance. But but I would say
Quran says.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
One thing I was just saying, in this position, it's like his argument about that there's some Yemenis, there's no source that he brings, and then he tries to bring up some scholar. This is the danger of these kind of debates when people quote mine scholars. They think that that's like a tool. You can gish gallop scholars, and then people buy it because it really is an appeal to an authority. It's a logical fallacy. So a bunch of scholars said these things, thus it's true. I don't have to actually grant the context of the scholar. I don't actually have to engage what the scholar was actually saying. I summon the scholar and I summon a piece of literature. Now that makes my position actually more right. It's a really grotesque way to debate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's what inspiring philosophy does, and I fucking hate that.
This.
Okay.
So when the Quran speaks on a certain sect or a certain belief, it does not attest that to all of Christians and Jews. It does not say all Jewish people worship.
You're just in. I have the same criticism to the Christians. There's a sentence and they tell you like, oh, it's this and that. Yeah, but none of that is in the text. Oh, I remember what I was going to say that I forgot a few minutes ago. That's why when I criticize this, I focus mainly on the texts, mostly because people have like what he's doing here right now. The text says the Jews, and that is an indication, like in the literalistic sense, that means the Jewish as a whole group, which we know they're not because there are differences. But when you say the Jews X, unless you specify which ones, it means all of them. And there's no way around that. No Arabic, like, oh, no, but no Arabic mudslinging and anything like that can get you out of those kind of criticisms.
Ezra, the Quran never claimed that. But you made that interpretation by yourself.
Unless you're consistent and you say, look, It's a complete nuanced situation. The Quran is always in particulars. It's not in generals. If you're a literalist, right? That's your way out. But if you're not being consistent, then you're being a grifter. Then it's a grift.
Right. But even in this case, even if you take that position, the problem is that that kind of contradicts some other verses that say that the Quran is clear. But if you have to read the Quran and also have an encyclopedia to next to you to figure out what the hell they're talking about, and every time you get a particular thing which is not explicitly said in the text, it gets you in trouble with some of the other claims that some of the more fundamentalist people would make when it comes to arguing for Islam, right?
Yeah, if you're a literalist, you're right. If you take the position of literalism all the way through, then you have issues. Like,
Yes.
for example, if you argue that, well, the Quran is clear to people of God consciousness, if you make that argument, because that's what the Quran says, well, that means it's a specific group of people that can actually know what the Quran says. But if you're saying that the Quran is generally accessible to everyone, then you have problems. You're right. So it's like, it really depends on how you interpret it. It's a lot of work. But you're right. If you take a very like Salafi Wahhabi position, it's very difficult. These things are not easy to navigate. And your complaints, your attestations, your arguments about these things, I mean, I think they're valid. It's like it's a difficult situation. If you're saying, hey, the Quran is clear, well, clear to who? What's a Jew? What's a Christian? Because the word in Arabic in Quran is Nasara. It's not Christian. So what's a Nasara mean? A helper of Christ? Is it a Nazarene? I don't know. It's difficult. These things are very difficult. And it's hard because Jvnior wants this thing to be super simple and super accessible.
And it's not.
And it's not. It's not. It just can't be and it won't be. You know, it's accessible to him. But like when you listen to him, are his positions consistent? And you'll see later on, he says that the Quran is pluralistic. Islam is pluralistic. It accepts everyone. Christianity is bad. His argument, his premise, his only argument was Christianity is bad because it only accepts people who believe in Christ. Islam good because it accepts everyone. That was his premise. That was his whole argument with all the other stuff in it. But that was his argument.
James.
It's very clear why you flip-flop around your beliefs. If that's how you interpret a Quran verse,
projection.
This is open dialogue section, right? Because we skipped rebuttals and all that.
Correct.
yeah.
Okay, all right. So once again, I have no idea what that has to do with the topic. Yes, we know the Quran says, do not worship this, do not worship that. I'm not sure what that has anything to do with the topic. Does it have anything to do with the topic at all, whether Islam is the one?
Is it true that you worship Jesus or not?
Yes.
Okay, so the Quran tells you not to worship Jesus.
I don't care what the Quran says.
I understand you don't, but what I'm trying to tell you is that this is the word of God. So whether you like it or not, doesn't matter.
All right.
Okay.
Then what is your response to my clear argument that in chapter 9?
What a wasted opportunity for AP to bring up the Islamic dilemma here. He would have just buried him right then and there in like 5 minutes into the open discussion. He would have been done. Jvnior has no idea how to get out of that one. Missed opportunity, AP there. I would have loved to see that.
Verse 30, it says that Jews worship Ezra as the son of God.
Okay.
But no Jew has ever done such a thing. So how can you then say when it makes such a
No Jew has ever done such a thing? Where is your proof for that claim? I just told you there's a sect in Yemen that literally worshipped Ezra as a god.
False.
Ezra, okay?
Prove it.
False.
Bro, you could literally Google.
No, that's it. We're done.
Yeah, that's the
Bro
end of
rule
the
is in
debate.
effect. You said bro in a debate. You're not a serious person. That's it.
No.
Got
And
it.
here's another thing. When people say
Great
Google
claim.
it,
We're gone.
you've lost. When a debater says Google it, they've lost the debate.
Right. Yes. I mean, also that, but I'm more concerned about the bro thing. Like, you can't be in a debate. Like, it's my stupid thing. But if you come and you pose yourself as having an intellectual discussion, he said right at the tail end of his opening, I hope this is a a fruitful discussion and enriching whatever intellect, blah blah blah, whatever he said, and you say, bro, to me that's it. You're done. You're done. No serious academic debate ever had a scholar going like, yeah, and that's the way it is, bro, and that's it. It's a silly thing, but it's mine.
For me,
So-
Google it is the end.
Yeah, that's also if you make a claim, you try the reversal of the burden of proof because you asserted something without evidence.
Exactly.
Dismissed without evidence. You try to the reversal, and then you tell people Google it. Yeah, it's what slimy creationists do.
You know, if you say Google it, I mean, like, that means you don't have mastery over this information. So I'm like, you shouldn't bring up this information. And I think when AP counters him with this, he's like, okay, you made a claim that this happened, and you're claiming there's some sect. Okay, you got to prove it. You got to showcase that this sect mirrors what the Quran says.
Right.
You're just making the causation does not equal correlation. Just because these two groups might even look alike, your claim may still not be true. So
Correct.
This is disgusting. It's a bad look.
It's bad. It's bad.
No, I mean, I think AP got him on this. Like, it's very,
yeah.
It's on point.
And I think he was gracious enough not to keep hounding him over that, because he could have stood his ground, and he's like, no. You made the claim about a sect in Yemen of Jews. I need the evidence. And he could have like stood his ground firmly there, and it would have been great. Yeah.
This fact.
Prove it.
The Quran refers to a specific Jewish group from Yemen. Okay? These Yemenis, you can keep saying prove it. I'm literally telling you where they're from.
We are literally
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's a debate. My guy, my dude, my bro. Humbly, you have the burden of proof. You made the positive claim. And what could you do? At the very least, at the minimum, you could cite at least a name or number of a hadith where you're taking this bullshit. But the problem is that it doesn't exist. You're just lying. If you don't have a historical citation, you don't have a citation from the Sunnah or anything like that, like, what are you doing?
This Jewish sect
I could also
elevated
tell you
Ezra
in a
to a
Jewish school,
divine
Jewish school.
status, and they are from Yemen. You said there is no Jewish person that exists that elevate Ezra to such status. There has never been a Jew in history. That's what you claim. That's a lie.
All right, so here's
Apostate.
the issue.
That's
So
a lie.
The Quran says in chapter 9, verse 30.
Let me
Jews say
expose
Ezra is
another
the son
lie
of
that
Allah.
you said. You said
So
that the Quran
when
doesn't
it
mention
says-
mustard
when
seed,
it
right?
says,
Yes. Yes.
he has very big difficulties respecting opponent speaking because he just interrupted. I let him speak for a while, but anyway. So the Quran says in 9 verse 30 that the Jews say Ezra is the son of Allah. I just explained to everybody the context. It is in the hadith. You can find it directly. Muhammad further explains that the Jews, not one Jew, not two Jews, not a tribe of Jews. The Jews will be called on the day of judgment, and they will be asked, what did you used to worship? They will say, we used to worship Uzair or Ezra, the son of Allah. And he will say, you have disbelieved, go to hell. Then he will call the Christians.
And the funny thing about that is that me, even as a filthy atheist, I know that in both the Old and the New Testament, there are people who are called sons of God, not in the literal sense, but in the spiritual, like David. David is referred to as one of the sons of God, but not on the literal sense. He's like begotten, like someone who God held as special. And then you have what's the name of this other one that gets Enoch that goes to heaven directly, and a couple more sprinkled here and there, that they are called Israel. The people of Israel are called the sons of God multiple times.
Jvnior brings up the children of God too. He has a interesting view on Israel, I'm sure.
Basil for $5 says, Isa, have you started smoking since Andrew Wilson looked cool smoking? It does look like it got a little bit fuzzy. Like, I don't know if it's out of focus or...
then he will call the Muslims. The Muslims are the ones who actually believe in Allah. So he now comes and invents a tribe that actually believed Ezra as the son of God. I'm telling you, it doesn't exist.
Okay.
Yes, Google it.
Okay,
You
so
can show me. And you can
if
show me
I
the context.
invented it, then scholars like Adolf Neubauer, Abraham Geiger, Rabbi Joseph Schwartz, Hartwig Hirschfeld, they shouldn't be agreeing with me. They shouldn't be agreeing with me if I'm literally lying.
Show the citation, dude. This is what I don't like on in-person debates, that we don't get to see, and especially on the broadcast, we only got to see Daniel Pikachu's presentation throughout the whole thing, and I really don't like that.
There was no presentations in this one.
I know that there was no presentations, but when we are debating over Zoom and so on, you can actually like force someone like, okay, show me now, share your screen, show me the citation. And I kind of like that, especially because I tend to make claims with citations to back them up. So it's a lot easier for me when I get put in that position. I think Jabad also had presentation. Yeah, but they didn't show it, which is, I hate that. And we didn't get to see Andrew Wilson's presentation because it was like deformed babies and like a non-YouTube friendly material.
Oh, well, I saw it. Yeah, it was rough.
About a Jewish sect from Yemen that elevated Ezra to a divine status. You're denying that.
One question. What are you reading from right now?
You're denying that. No, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're telling me to bring proof.
You can't cry ChatGPT and then like go rummaging in your phone throughout your opponent's whole opening. Just, it makes you look like a dummy.
No, and also that's not evidence. Claiming Rabbi Schwartz said something does not prove the case. And
right.
You'd have to prove what the theology of these Jews were in Yemen and what the sect. We don't even know what the name of the sect is. You know?
Right. Yep. Yeah,
So
it's just quote mining and saying, oh, someone said a thing. It's like, okay, why don't you make it a little bit more compelling and tell me, like, why does he say, like, why don't you actually give me the argument? The problem is that Jvnior has no fucking clue, like, whatsoever about how to do that. That's the biggest hurdle right now.
What I think what Jvnior has is he has the pomp and pageantry. He's very like, he believes he's got swag and charm and charisma.
No,
that's what he believes. You could see that's what he's selling, right?
Yeah. No, I get that.
And he's like, I want you to know, I believe in Islam, and Islam is true. Haq bil haq. It makes me feel what I need to do. Like he's like doing a musician type of rap type of thing, you know?
Yeah, it's like remember what's comedy Central Dawa. It's like Central Dawa that had like that whole hip hop vibe, but tuned like way down in all aspects. Yeah, it's.
But even like the outfit, the hair, it looks like it's like this is DJ Khaled's cousin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another one.
And another one.
I'm like, DJ Khaled's cousin is debating, and I'm like, it's not a good look. It's, you know, I talked with him. He's a nice guy. And
he seems like a normal Western Muslim.
Yeah. The thing, but it's like they put on the performance mode. It's like performance mode, and doing this type of thing, it doesn't.
Well, I'm a little bit guilty of that too, because I am super nice in general, but when the debate mode starts, I can sometimes go into a little bit of like a pitbull mode and just like do stuff that I wouldn't regularly do. But Basil says for $2, room 627, never forget. I asked the FTFE and he didn't know. he doesn't know what happened there. So we'll need to keep on digging.
But there's a difference when you debate. You're interested in facts and evidence.
Yes.
You're not just saying claims. You know, it's like the thing is a more honest position he could say is like, I don't know why it says that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or it's
that's
like,
a perfectly acceptable response.
and just say, you know, and you could just take the position, and it's a hard position. I wouldn't have taken this topic. I think it's a very bad topic to take. You'll
Yeah.
never hear me take this topic. Why is Islam the only true religion? And then try to take a position of pluralism. Like that's what he did. He, in both of his positions, he tried to make Islam pluralistic. Well, if Islam is pluralistic, then it can't be the one true religion. It's one religion among other religions. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
That is the premise of his argumentation. So,
And he even takfirs like other Muslims in just a little bit. Like it's bad, or so bad overall.
Yeah.
Magos Mjork said that yeah, Junior basically adds his own riff tracks if anybody gets the reference.
Drax, it's awesome.
He just said
That there
I'm
is a
reading from
sect in Yemen that
ChatGPT.
worships Ezra. I just named 4 scholars.
He was
You're not a
literally-
scholar.
he was
I
literally
named
just reading
4
from
scholars that
ChatGPT.
agree with my statement. You're not a scholar, so I don't care if you agree with my statement or not.
He was just reading from ChatGPT.
Now,
when I just
I
made
didn't
a-
read from ChatGPT. I read
when I
4
made my
scholar
opening
names.
statement-
I read 4 names of scholars. I didn't read from ChatGPT.
AP is way more like approachable, way more sympathetic, way more charismatic, and you know, I think I'm more used to him. But Junior is so bland, so bland. It's boring as hell to listen to him. Not that it makes any argument, like not that it changes the arguments and so on, but it's a little bit more engaging.
Junior, that you wanted to get to.
Yes.
And I deferred to VP.
So he said that the Quran doesn't mention any mustard seed verse.
That's
Okay?
not what I said.
That's what you said. You said
That's not what I
that
said.
the Quran does not mention any verse. You said, where is the verse about the mustard seed?
That's not what I said.
What did you say? I'll give you a
I
chance to
said
clear
the
up.
Quran does not say that anyone who has the faith of the weight of a mustard seed will never enter hell.
And you called yourself a Sunni Muslim?
Tell me which Quran verse is that?
There is literally
Mm.
a saying in
Like he has one foot over the line of takfir. Like, dude, he's no longer a Muslim. He wouldn't care, like, even if you full takfired him right now. But that's one thing I noticed. He tries to come across as the sensible Muslim, but every once in a while, we caught him when he stopped himself from saying, like, yeah, you would get your head split from your body. And now he was going to, but he thought better. So yeah, it's wild.
Sunni Islam.
Which Quran
That
verse?
without the Quran, there's no Sunnah. And without the
which
Sunnah,
Quran
there's no
verse-
Quran.
Which Quran verse is it? Tell me.
Chapter 31, verse 16. You can go to your ChatGPT. Oh, my son, even if it be the weight of a mustard seed and it is hidden in a rock or in the heavens or in the earth.
Such as arrogance, Allah will bring it forth. Indeed, Allah is subtle, all aware. Chapter.
Oh my
The
god.
audio completely changes. It's really weird.
Yeah. Basil and I were watching live, and the audio was trash throughout the whole thing. The whole thing. Like absolute garbage.
So 21, verse
You're right
47.
here.
There's more.
Right
There's
here.
more. Let me
I
read.
said the Quran.
We
never
will set up the
says
scales
anyone.
of justice on the day of resurrection, and no
Okay,
soul
can you
will be
pause this for a
lost
second?
at
Let me
all.
explain what Junior
Even
said.
if it
Yes.
So I don't know if you know, because I don't think there's any Muslim viewers who really know much about Islam, but on Fridays, Muslims go to this sermon. They need to listen to a prayer sermon, right? And then they do one of the 5 times prayers afterwards, like a shortened version of it. But basically, there's this sermon. It's called a khutbah, right? And the imam goes on the pulpit and gives a lecture, right? This is what I feel Junior is doing. He's going, Alhamdulillah wa nasta'inuhu wa nahmaduhu
ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Yeah, brothers and sisters of the Ummah, I've got to give you some teaching here about the Quran, about the Hadith, about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I got to tell you that Islam is the truth because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel right. The Christianity, it don't make no sense. They believe in 3 gods. We believe in 1 God. 1 God is the truth, and it's right. And we got to support the brothers and sisters in Palestine and pray for the success of the Ummah. Ameen, Ameen, Sadaqallahu Adim. And that's literally what it sounds like. It sounds like he's giving a Friday day khutbah.
Let's because you went hard on the Arabic, and I have enough experience to know what you're talking about. But tell our friends what's the Ummah.
Oh yeah, the Ummah is the community, and I was just doing like kind of like it's a Friday prayer dua that they do like during. That's all it was, but basically the Ummah is the community of the Muslims.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What's that?
It's in the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think the others are just the prayers, but I think
it's a dua, yeah.
Those are some of the words that you will hear like
on the
over
Friday
and
prayer.
over.
You'll hear that dua every Friday prayer. So that's what he was doing. He was giving like a lecture, and it's like, I think this is why you're bored, because you're like, you're not giving a debate, you're giving a lecture, a Friday prayer lecture. And you're like, I don't want to go to church, I don't want to go to synagogue, and I don't want to go to masjid. So
it's like I've had encounters with Christians that instead of giving you an argument, they will just cite you verse after verse after verse of the Bible. And it's like, yeah, look, I don't care about being preached at. I've read the Bible, I was not impressed. Why don't you explain to me why that verse is relevant to what we're talking about right now? And they can never do that because it's just their strategy is just repeating verses over and over.
It is the weight of a mustard seed. We will bring it forth, and sufficient we are.
It's Yahweh or the highway. Yes, we got the peeps from the Drunk Debunk Show. Thank you so much, Mike. But Isa was speaking. I didn't want to interrupt him. But thank you so much. Love you guys.
Continue. All right, I'll respond to this now. Go ahead. So I said, as you have all heard very clearly, that the Quran never ever says that whoever has the faith, the weight of a mustard seed, he will never enter.
The teacher of the Quran said that. Our teacher of the Quran said that.
So he made the claim that God says this, right? And I said that the Quran never says that whoever has faith, the weight of a mustard seed, will never enter.
So are you saying God?
Isa, you know that there's a crazy flat earther that goes on Toon's channel. He is like a 70-year-old man, has actually, and I'm being quite literal here, has 1 teeth in the upper gums and 1 teeth on the below gums. Goes by the name of Jerry. We call him Jerry Two Teeth. And he says that he has the proper pronunciation of the name of Yahweh, but calls it Yahweh. So that's why this is funny. But I don't think you know the lore on that guy. He is wacky as hell. He believes on a flat earth that has 2 poles, and that the sun teleports from one side to the next, doing this.
Pac-Man, waka 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 waka.
I love when we get to play some of those clips.
His response to it, be quiet, man, I'm talking. His response to
God's words can run out.
his response to that is exactly this. He quoted Quran verses. Did any of these Quran verses say that whoever has faith, the weight of a mustard seed, he will never enter hell? No.
It said every matter, even the weight of a mustard seed, will be brought forth.
Okay,
that means your area,
does it say you will never
your
enter
faith
hell?
will be brought forth. Everything in account, even this water cup that I put down, this action will be brought forth on Judgment Day, and all of humanity is going to witness.
No, for fuck's sake, dumbass. That putting that water cup down has no moral value in any measure of any religion whatsoever. Unless you are like hardcore Buddhists that there's a lot of things they don't do because they might hurt insects or some other life. But the problem is that is just paralyzing you. Yeah, at any point, even if you're walking barefoot in the grass, you might be killing at the very least some microorganisms. So that is just an untenable position.
That.
All right.
You don't understand what's
So
going to happen.
we have just concluded that the Quran actually does not ever say that whoever has faith the weight of a mustard seed will never enter.
It does say, the Quran says that. The Quran says, we will set up the scales of justice on the day of resurrection, and no soul will be wronged at all. Even if it is the weight of a mustard seed,
it will not be wronged.
We will bring it forth.
Big fish. Yeah, that's what I said. Jerry calls it Yahweh. But the most accepted, I mean, the actual pronunciation of that word is like literally lost to history. So, but most people agree that is Yahweh, and that's it, right, Isa? What are your thoughts on the name of God?
It's not really like, it's 4 holy letters, you know, and people are trying to make the sound from the 4 holy letters. It's YHWH. You know what I mean? So the letters are Yud.
Yud.
Second letter is Hey.
Hey.
The third letter is Vav.
Vav.
And then the fourth letter is Hey. So these are the 4 holy letters. This is where actually the name Jesus and Joshua come from. You take the J from God's name, or Y, it's really Y, and you bring it to the name of Hoshua or Jesus,
Yeah,
right?
Hoshua.
Jesus, yeah, Jesus, and you put that Y in front, and then it's God's Savior or God's salvation. So,
right, and then you have the Jehovah's Witnesses, which kind of like a Latinization of the same name. But yeah, I mean, what is funny is that this guy, this flat earther, thinks that he knows the proper pronunciation of a language he doesn't even speak, ignoring completely like the historical context, the fact that we know that the actual pronunciation of the name is lost, and all of this other stuff. They're just silly. Little toilet break. I'll be right back.
What is God talking about when he says we will bring it forth? What will God bring forth to be judged?
All right, let me ask you one question.
Is it going to
Let
be?
me ask you a pointed question.
Yes, go ahead.
Does any of those verses that you quoted say that if you have faith, the weight of a mustard seed, you will never enter hell? Does it say that anywhere?
It literally says.
Does it say anywhere?
It literally says
Does
in
it
this
say
verse.
anywhere you will not enter?
No. Let me finish my point. It literally says in this verse, we will set up the scales of justice on the day of resurrection.
Thank you.
What is justice? What is eternal justice? Heaven or hell? You are actually a liar. You simply don't understand anything about Islam. So you've run away from Islam, became an atheist, now somehow claim to be Orthodox, but you don't represent any Christian values because all you've done is lie. All you've done is expose yourself as a liar. I just told you, justice will be brought on Judgment Day, even if it is the weight of a mustard seed, and sufficient Allah is an accountant, and no soul will be wronged. What does it mean when Allah says, no soul will be wronged? If you have a mustard seed weight of faith in your heart, you will not be wronged. God will give you heaven for that. Our teacher, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he is the one who taught us the Quran. So when he says something about the Quran, when he clarifies the verse and says,
let's do it like this,
guys, this is your salvation. This verse that's just got revealed is your little salvation. Have faith.
Let's do it like this then. So
don't be.
Let me say.
It's very simple.
Let me do this. If I told you, I will regard everything that you did, and if you did only one good thing, I will not beat you up. And then I also say, I will regard everything that you did and I will treat you justly. Are those two statements the same thing?
Absolutely. Because if you literally consider arrogance and faith as the only two deciding factors of justice on Judgment Day, you will understand that salvation is not inclusive to Muslims, and that is why Islam is the true religion. I don't know what Islam believes that you can earn salvation.
Your religion doesn't believe I can earn salvation. How is that the truth?
Yeah,
you literally believe that I'm going to hell.
We believe.
You believe that I'm already sealed and going to hell because I've denied the divinity of Jesus. This is the problem with debates like this. People like him believe I'm going to go to hell. This is the problem.
Okay.
Of course, go ahead.
He wants to keep on talking. I can do this too. You know, we can just spend the entire time just talking over.
You're just lying. You're not talking.
Oh boy, I mean, I'll give him like 2 trauma dumps because of that, because that was just bad. And yeah, he is kind of correct, AP that is, in that he's preaching right now. Like, dude, it's a conversation. You need to shut up for a little bit and let the other person speak. You can't just, and the one thing that I find extremely annoying is when people repeat themselves thinking that you didn't understand. It's like, yeah, I got it the first time. Can I speak now?
I know you're very excited. I know you're very, very excited because of what's going on in your land right now. But please, this is a civilized debate. It's not.
So you don't condemn the genocide in Gaza?
This is.
That's 2 for 2, by the way. The last guy didn't condemn it. This guy didn't condemn it.
Oh no! That gets you 5. Because this is the second debate he does the same shit. No one cares.
Don't tell me to shut up. Don't tell me to shut. You have a fuck Hamas shirt on.
Fuck Hamas indeed.
That's a resistance group. You hate resistance? Is that a Christian value?
Oh, so our friend here is a Hamas.
Hating the oppressed people is a Christian value?
It's an Islamic terrorist organization.
Using the word fuck is a Christian value?
All Hamas are dying. I hope all of Hamas are killed.
Oh my God! What? Action! Oh my! Wait! Action replay on that. James literally, in case you missed it, James literally had to stand up and move the mic away from him.
All Hamas are dying. I hope all of Hamas are killed. Me? Dude, do you see that?
Order here. AP, at the same time, if it's spurring it on, I just want to restore order here.
Okay, how many times do I have to jump in and stop him from talking over me to continue the debate?
I'm doing that right now.
No, you're not.
Arguing with the moderator. Classy.
AP to be able to talk. If you overtalk him over and over, it doesn't make sense to have a debate.
I mean, you should be able to have like a little mute button or something.
Yeah, right. I'll give you a few minutes until you jump in immediately. A few seconds, sorry.
Did James just throw a Subway sandwich? No, he had to get up.
So, as we have demonstrated, he makes up a verse, says this is what God says. I demonstrate that God never says such a thing according to his own holy book. He then lies about it. He invents something out of his behind and then acts like I am the liar. He calls me a liar. This is basically the morality of Islam. Islam doesn't teach you to be truthful. Islam doesn't teach you to be honest. As he loses it, he starts talking over me, inventing things out of thin air. Then he wants to evoke sympathy. Again, the poor sympathy to win over the debate. This is what he did in the other debate. This is exactly what he did in the other debate. Has he demonstrated at this point at all that Islam is the truth? No. Has he demonstrated that Islam is the one true religion? No. He says that that in Islam everybody goes to heaven. I'm sorry. He just said in the other debate that whoever does not believe in Islam or whoever chooses anything other than Islam, he will never have salvation. He will never go to heaven. This is literally what the Quran says. If I reject Islam, I will go to hell. That's what he believes. That's what the Quran says. Does it?
That's what all religions say. If you don't believe my religion, and you can even take it further, that if you don't believe my specific brand of this religion, then you will not go to heaven. That's what all of you believe. It's not that big of a deal.
Not.
I'll give you a chance, Junior. Just be sure to hold the mic toward your mouth.
Look, honestly, may God guide your soul, because you've only spoken lies about Islam today. Salvation, and I will stand on this until the day I die. Salvation belongs to every single person in this audience. Every single one of you deserves heaven, including myself, including him. But he can't say the same because
it's not Ryan anymore. Now it's Mike. But it doesn't hit the same thing. It doesn't hit the same way. Like yelling Ryan is just. I'm still going to keep on yelling Ryan because that's the joke, the way it has always been.
You need to believe what he believes in order to enter heaven. Islam makes it clear. God will not judge you based on your religion. God will judge you on two things: your faith and your arrogance. I came today to teach you the Quran, not to answer.
You didn't come to teach, you came to a debate. Oh my God. You see, it doesn't, Mike doesn't hit, even James doesn't hit. Like, how where do you put the repetition of the sound? James! It's not the same.
To his requests, because this is the problem with speakers like this. They get exposed so easily. When a verse is brought up with the words that they claim don't even exist in the Quran, he exploded. I didn't even get to make my points to prove Islam is a true religion because he kept lying about the religion. So, if I may, let me explain why
You have spoken long enough.
the Quran is the true word of God,
So,
according to the Sunnah. Thank you.
No, fuck's sake. Of course, the Sunnah, which is a hadith, is going to say that the Quran is the word of God. If you really wanted to make that argument, you should justify it some other way, not the two things that are making the claim. Oh my. This guy doesn't even know Debate 101. That is just sad.
It's not possible to understand this Quran without the Sunnah. If you bring any sect of Islam that claim that this Quran can be understood without the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, they're not a Muslim.
Oh! There we go with the takfir. Those of you who don't know, what he just said in Arabic is called takfir, and it's basically saying that someone is not a Muslim, basically getting them out of the fold. But he just alienated a whole bunch of people, including everyone in the audience, who do not subscribe to the Quran or the Sunnah or any of that. And we see this. It's a constant in a lot of Islamic debates where people will hold. And we've even had recently a debate with Christians that did that same thing to the Muslims. He said they were debating Ali Dawa. Ali Dawa, no. It's Ali Dawa, right? With the redhead Christian that was boring as hell, Lisa?
Oh, Ali Dawa wasn't there.
No, I know. But on the past couple of weeks before DebateCon, there was a debate between two Christians, Noche and
Perfect Dawa. Perfect Dawa.
Perfect Dawa. Okay.
I'll tell you how you know Perfect Dawa. I am from Iran. Everything's about Iran. I am so Iranian. You need to know that I am from Iran.
Yes. So the Christians, because Perfect Dawa doesn't hold to the Hadith because he's not Sunni, the Christians called him that he wasn't a Muslim because he doesn't hold to the Sunnah. And that was just like, I lost my mind when I heard that. It was like, what the fuck? Whodunit says, something I've never understood about Islam is why Allah is so weak that he constantly needs to be praised. I'm not aware of any other religion where this is true, but I haven't cared enough to research. It does seem a little bit more tendentious. At the very least, when you read the Quran, every very few little sentences, paragraphs, you have a praise of Allah. And it's basically just, the repetition, a lot like the cult's function. You repeat the exaltation of Allah and so on. But yeah, it is a little bit weird and honestly off-putting. Like, for example, the peace be upon him that Daniel Pikachu does. Every single time he mentions Muhammad, it's peace be upon him and so on. It's like, you can just say it once and leave it said, leave it open for the whole debate. It just stifles the conversation to a point. Basil for $5 says, Montevideo, a mountain video. Please explain the origin. No. Monte is a mound, sort of like a hill. And then when you're coming in to the Rio de la Plata from the east, it's the 6th. That's why it's V. Monte, the 6th. DEO, from east to west, all in Spanish. So Montevideo is the 6th hill from east to west as you travel the coast. And that's why the city got its name. Uruguay means the river of the painted birds. And the fun fact is that my country doesn't actually have a name. My country's name officially is República Oriental del Uruguay, the Oriental Republic of the river, but of Uruguay. That is the republic that's on the east of the Uruguay River, which is kind of like a cool thing. Sorry, I love telling that story. Aldebaran gets it right. So Monte, V-D-E-O. Yeah, the 6th mount from east to west. I would have guessed I see a mountain as video is I see in Latin, but no one. It was the Spanish that came here, so it wouldn't be in Latin.
All right, so I'm going to read a few Quran verses here, which he
with or without the Sunnah. Okay.
Always interject, always be rude, and then claim to be the victim, just like the Palestinians. So the Quran chapter 98 verse 6, indeed, those who disbelieve from the people of the book and the polytheists will be in the fire of hell to stay there forever. They are the worst of all beings. What this verse is telling you is that all those who have disbelieved in Islam from among the people of the book, which is a term used for Christians and Jews, all those who have a book, and the polytheists will be in the fire of hell to stay there forever. They are the worst of creatures. So the Quran calls us all who disbelieve in Islam the worst of creatures. It says in chapter 5, verse 72 to 75, this is a series of verses which go against Christianity. In chapter 5, verse 73, it says, those who say Allah is one of three have certainly fallen into disbelief. There is only one God. If they do not stop saying this, those who disbelieve among them will be afflicted with a painful punishment, and for them is no rescue. So the Quran is very clear. It says, as I also quoted, that whoever chooses a religion any other than Islam, for him there is no help on the day of judgment. That in order to go to heaven, you have to become a Muslim. You have to believe in the Quran and in Muhammad. If you choose anything else, you go to hell. If I say Islam is nonsense, I go to hell. Is it true or not?
Any thoughts? Is he representing the verses correctly in the context, Isa? Because I know he talked about the non-believers, and we've talked about the mushrikun, the polytheists, and the kafirun. But we kind of came to the conclusion that to be a kafir, you have to have been a Muslim and then denied it. So,
yeah, or you know the truth and you're covering over it.
and you're
Like, you have to
covering,
know
yeah.
it's right.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an interpretation.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like there's no true or non-true Islam. So this.
No, what I'm more concerned is like, okay, is he actually doing a valid interpretation, or is he just like we caught him not too long ago in like, yeah, that's not what that means. You're omitting the context to try and make a point which is really not in the book per se.
I mean,
when we were talking about the chase, the find them wherever they are and so on, and the rocks and the trees will tell you where they're hiding and yada yada.
I think it's hard. It's a hard thing with these religious texts because you can make multiple interpretations. I don't believe there's an intrinsic true interpretation of the text. That's my position on this. So it's an interpretation you can derive, you know. I know,
but like, for example, when you cite the verse, find the Jews and yada yada, if you omit the context of, okay, this is something that is meant in the context of a war and in the end of days, then that is like a tendentious representation of what the book says, right? That was kind of what I was asking. Is the interpretation valid in that sense, or is he leaving out some key detail that would invalidate his argument?
Could you repeat it again? I'll listen to it and I'll see if I can.
Yeah,
I'll hear the exact
to help on the religion any other than, as I also quoted, that whoever chooses a religion any other than Islam, for him there is no help on the day of judgment. That in order to go to heaven, you have to become a Muslim. You have to believe in the Quran and in Muhammad. If you choose anything else, you go to hell. If I say Islam is nonsense, I go to hell. Is it true or not?
Well, so the point is, the Quran says in Surah Al-Baqarah 256, there is no compulsion in the religion. And it also says there's I think it's 260, it might be 262. Let me tell you. It says that if you're Jews, it's 262. You might hear this later on. Indeed, the believers, Jews, Christians, and Sabians, whoever truly believes in Allah on the last day and does good, their reward will be with their Lord, and they will have no fear for them, nor will they grieve. So, I don't know. I mean, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe that the Quran says that, then that would counter that position. But it depends. So what AP's position is, he believes that certain verses abrogate other verses. So he would be reading a verse that he believes forfeits this particular verse.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do think the Quran gives a space for progressive ideas and does allow for it. So, yeah.
Right. Oh, Pavle brings up a good point. Yeah, we have a couple of nonsensical names of landmarks and places. Like, for example, we have what he says there, Cerro Chato means a flat hill, which is, it's an oxymoron. And then there's also a jail that is called the Jail of Liberty, which also, it's like a nonsensical names. There's a bunch of those here. It's kind of funny. Okay, I do get the point, but it does seem that AP is a little bit tendentious in his interpretations. And the abbreviations, I mean, you can call it abrogation. I prefer to call it contradiction, but I mean, who am I?
I'm
just a filthy atheist.
No, if you don't believe in Islam, it would be a contradiction. Yeah,
yeah,
it's fair. But I would say that AP is giving the least charitable reading of these texts.
Yeah, pretty much.
I totally agree with that. I think and he's doing it on purpose. But on the opposite, Jvnior is giving the most charitable reading. So. You know.
Right, it kind of counterbalance, and what the problem is that Jvnior is not debate savvy enough to tell him like, hey, you're you're just being very tendentious in what you're saying. Like you're sometimes ignoring context and
So, but what is Junior doing? Is Junior tendentious? Doing
yeah.
the same
I mean,
thing?
yeah.
So
And
it
also
would
he's
be the pot
failing.
calling the kettle black, right?
Yeah, and also Junior is failing like super hard. So I mean,
I don't think
what?
he really understands the arguments AP is making.
No,
I don't
no,
think.
not at
I
all.
think that's the problem. That's why he can't counter it, because he doesn't even understand what he's saying. He's not the scholar that he's claiming to be on Islam. You know.
Yeah, and also no freaking debate. No, like he doesn't have debate skills whatsoever.
Well, his debate skills are chest thumping.
Yeah.
You're apostate prostate. You're apostate prostate. You
Which
support
goober?
BPD.
AP Apostate Prophet is the one on the right, the one with the white shirt that says "fuck Hamas." The one on the left is Jvnior. Right.
Look, your opinion is shaped by two things: genetics and your social programming. God, like I said, judges you on two things: your arrogance and your faith. You are trying to bring your belief, what you believe in, what your opinion about Islam is. That has nothing to do with the conversation here today. Islam is the true religion simply because salvation belongs to non-Muslims as well as the Muslims. Does salvation belong to a non-believer? Does salvation belong to someone who takes God as an enemy? Does salvation belong to someone who does not act like Jesus? I don't know. That's why I repent, because today I did not act like Jesus. Today I did not prove that Islam is a true religion. So let me take the chance to do that right now. Islam is the only religion that
Admitting he has failed in the debate so far is a bold strategy.
explains the exile of Ishmael in detail. That is why we know Prophet Abraham is the one. Look, he's going to ChatGPT. Abraham is the one who built the holy mosque in Mecca and asked God to make it a pilgrimage for humanity, a location of pilgrimage for humanity. This was a request said.
I'm going to be a filthy atheist for a moment. The problem is that Abraham didn't exist. Ishmael didn't exist. It's just what people call their own tribes based on the myths. And if you're going to go by the sources, like by what the Jews and the Christians believe, Ishmael and Abraham didn't get to Arabia. Didn't get all the way down the Arabian Peninsula down to Mecca or Mecca. Yes, they didn't get down there. But we do have the historical records of the people that were there before that were basically what AP said before, that the Kaaba was basically a pagan temple, and it's hard to contend with all of that if you're just cheerleading for your team. Paule for 750 Uruguayan pesos. If Junior throw himself off from his ego, he would unalive himself. Oh my. Oh boy.
By Prophet Abraham, and you can find it in the hadiths, because our teacher of this Quran is Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, not apostate prostate. He said, I bring stuff from my behind.
Oh boy, that gets you a trauma dump thing. Cause like Junior, you're literally losing the debate, bro. You just cried about how you weren't very Jesus-y like, and now you're calling him apostate prostate. Like, oh boy.
But clearly this guy loves supporting someone with prostate cancer who kills children, and he calls that righteous. He calls that blessed by God, chosen by God.
Israel.
Again, yeah.
And Benjamin Netanyahu, great.
Let's give him two more. That's 20.
A prime minister that claims he's done nothing wrong, despite killing 13,000 children.
So, as you can just see, I quoted Quran verses to the guy who claims to be the expert on Islam. That's what he said. He's an expert on Islam. He's not an expert on Christianity, which is very funny, because he wants to come here and debunk Christianity and affirm that Islam is true. I quoted Quran verses to him which directly contradict with the claims that he just made. What did he do in response? He dismissed it. He called it my opinion. Apparently, I am Allah. Apparently, I am Allah, because I quoted Allah here, according to him. But he said that this is just my opinion. Did he respond to the Quran verses? He did not.
I'm going to bump the speed a little bit because I want to get this finished.
Yeah, I think it's early. We both need to like end this as soon as we can.
Yeah, this is just so painful. Do you remember? You said there was an interesting question. I was going to skip the questions, but if you remember who asked it, we can watch that specific question and then
go to the last question after. Let's finish the thing. You go to the last question, or the second to last question.
Just tells you whatever you want to hear. He just tells you whatever he wants to tell you, because he doesn't actually have anything proper to stand on. Because Islam doesn't stand on anything firm. It is built on not even sand. It's built on complete garbage. It's built on mud. That's what it is built on. So of course he has to go to different issues here. This is basically what it is. He also just conceded that he has not established that Islam is the truth. I agree with you. Thank you.
I mean, that's not a call to clap at all.
Whodunit says, I'm quite surprised AP went Christian. I just assumed he left religion entirely. Yeah, it's a tricky thing. He was going through like depression and so on, and also hanging out a lot with David Wood, blah blah blah, and then got kind of pulled into their religion, and now he's like getting a divorce and so on. People do that kind of stuff when they have those kinds of problems. But yeah, it's a weird situation. Any thoughts on that, Isa? All right, let's go on.
You literally lied and said there's no sect in Yemen that believes Ezra is divine. You literally base your faith on surveying people in the streets of Israel. Honestly, man, I honestly feel sorry for you, bro. Your name is Apostate Prostate. There's no comeback from that. There's nothing that's ever going to save you from this. Your career is over today. You lied about the...
Your career is over because Jvnior said so. The guy who couldn't make an argument in 2 debates. Not one. Not a single argument he made.
Holy mosque in Mecca. You lied about Islam. You declared yourself a disbeliever, a kafir. That is not faith. That is arrogance. And God will judge you on that. I promise. If you do not get rid of that from your heart on Judgment Day, you will never enter heaven until that leaves your soul. I rest my case. Islam says and affirms that salvation belongs to you guys. Islam, this book came to you guys.
If you accept Islam.
Salvation belongs to all of humanity.
If you accept Islam.
He cannot say that. No, you don't have to accept Islam. My mother didn't accept Islam, okay? And that doesn't mean that she wasn't a bad person during that time. So but when she accepted Islam, she didn't do it because she was afraid of going to hell.
I go to heaven if I don't
she did it because Islam is the true religion. My mother embraced, my mother's family, all of them embraced Islam because Islam is the true religion.
Question. I really want to know.
Yes.
Can I go to heaven if I don't affirm that Islam is the truth? Me, personally,
If you affirm that privately and you repent to God for your arrogance today,
I do not affirm that Islam is
I
the
will
truth.
personally pray for you to get into heaven.
Okay.
I will personally advocate for God to put you in heaven.
That's not the question.
If that's what you're worried about.
Can you even do that?
It depends. It's debatable. Intercession is a debatable thing, but
I had never heard of intercessionary prayer in Islam, honestly.
Yeah, it does exist, but usually it's from like holy people. It wouldn't be just like a regular average Joe.
Ah, right.
Yeah. It's like a friend of God, a wali, an awliya, one of the awliya.
Okay.
Apostate Prophet Ridwan, if I do not affirm that Islam is true, if I actually say Islam is definitely not true, that is my conclusion, can I go to heaven?
If that is the only statement you've ever made in your life, and that's the only thing your whole life revolves around, yes. But you have content out there that defames the Prophet. You insult the Quran. You literally call this religion a pagan religion. You literally call the holy mosque in Mecca that was built by Prophet Abraham a pagan building. I don't understand where you got these points from. Right. Where does it say
Yeah, from historians, archaeologists, and a bunch of more people.
I would say a lot of Muslims would believe it too. It got
Yeah.
transformed into that. It had all the idols. It had 300 idols in there. So
Yeah.
the Prophet of Islam had to pull the idols out. So I think even in the Islamic tradition, it was kind of a house of the indigenous Arab tradition, at least for a
Right.
while.
Yes, heaven is transferable, at least from my reading.
This in the
Let me
Quran.
take over.
Where does it say this in the
All right,
Bible?
thank you.
You're
Let me
just a
take over.
heretic.
Let me take over. So I asked the question
Heretic.
if me personally, if I do not affirm that Islam is the truth, and if I say that Islam is a false religion, it's not true, can I go to heaven? He said yes, but then he immediately contradicted himself and basically said no. So it's just, nothing really makes any sense here. Nothing coming out of this guy's
You're
mouth
not
makes
listening
any
to me.
sense. He also doesn't in any way affirm what the Quran says and what Muslims believe. Muslims would call this guy a kafir, a disbeliever. I just told you what the Quran says. I told you what Muslim scholars hold. I told you what Islamic tradition teaches. The Quran.
And that's the second takfir of the day. Don't you love that? Everyone throwing takfirs around. You takfir. Love it. Love it.
It's quite clear. If you accept Islam, you may go to heaven. If you reject Islam, if you disbelieve in it, you are the worst of creatures. Especially we, people who believe in Jesus, we are the worst of creatures, and we will go to hell and stay there for eternity. Yes, I do believe in Christianity. Yes, I do believe that in Jesus. I do believe that Jesus was born of a virgin, that he was crucified, that he rose again from the dead, that he ascended into heaven, that he sits at the right hand of the Father, that he will come again with glory to judge the living and the dead, that his kingdom shall have no.
Ah, now you are preaching. Oh my God. Why? Why do you do this? No one cares. It's not the topic. Like, it's literally out of the blue.
And yes, I believe all of that. And I believe that he died so you can be saved. You believe in pagan nonsense.
I mean, there is an argument to be made that Christian is also a pagan religion that stole a bunch from the pagans, but like, who cares? Who cares about that, right?
You can keep calling me a pagan, but every single insult you throw at me is going to come back at you. It's like when you insult Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. You look up, you spit on the moon, it's going to land on your face every single time. You know why? Because your problem is not a problem with Islam. Your problem is a problem with yourself. You fail to recognize your own arrogance.
Oh boy. Armchair psychology gets you two things.
I came to tell you that this book literally came as a guidance for all of us to tell us one thing and one truth only, that on the day of judgment, when we are resurrected, we are going to be judged two things: faith and arrogance. Today you showed a lot of arrogance and no faith. I hope I showed a little bit of faith. I hope I showed you guys a mustard seed weight of faith. My family suffered a genocide. Okay.
Oh boy. You're going to start getting progressively more dings for each time that you go back to that. So let me, 23, I'll give you 4, that's 27.
Okay? And I still managed to come up here and debate and speak about Islam and represent my people. Who are his people? Are you his people?
Like crap. Like crap. I am not a Muslim. I don't even care about this, and I'm embarrassed by your performance. If I were a Muslim...
I think, brother, you've been converted to Islam based on what he said.
No,
all these words have. He is the best Muslim apologist of all time. Just lean back. Islam.
Alhamdulillah. No,
I
Jvnior
want you to know there were bombs that were overhead. Let's become a Muslim now. I'm not going to lie. There are people who become Muslim because of it. It's super weird that people become Muslim because of it. I'm like, why?
Do you want me to tell you how unconvincing Jvnior is? I shaved my Islamic beard just to prove to him that he did like absolutely horrible.
Are you guys his people? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, he does not act like Jesus. When he insults people, when he attacks religions rather than try to understand, he's not acting like Jesus.
So
everything he's done in this debate today does not reflect any of Jesus' teachings. Show me one verse in the Bible which justifies anything that he's done today, and I will literally concede this whole debate.
Here's the funny thing. Did Jesus actually insult people, and did Jesus insult the things that they believe in and they say? Yes, he did.
He called some people snakes, right? But no, I mean, he wasn't going around just throwing insults to everyone.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
he
with
did.
you. I don't agree with
He
that
influenced.
position. I think
Yeah.
he's biting the bait. Junior put out bait and AP bought it, and I think he
Yeah.
shouldn't have. AP should say, you know what? We're not here to talk about Jesus.
Yeah.
See, if I were arguing as a Christian, I'm a fallen person. It doesn't matter what I do. My master
Right.
Jesus is perfect and pure. So I don't have to be like him. He's perfect and pure. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would have been a much stronger argument. He bit the bait, and it was
Yep.
not smart.
He did.
IP does the same thing in the debate against Junior. He bites the bait.
Mm-hmm.
Junior is putting out bait, and because Junior doesn't really have much to offer, so he puts out bait, and then they attack the bait. And I was like, okay.
He said, "Love your enemy."
So that's what he did according to the very Bible, according to the very Gospels.
Do you love me?
That we read.
I'm your enemy. Do you love me?
Muslims do not even believe in the Bible. They don't believe in the Gospels.
It's getting a little hot in here. You're going
Time to put
have
another
buy-
dump on there. We need to add
Yeah,
another
got
dump.
it. You're going to have to buy him a drink before you ask him that. Like, seriously, man. I mean, also, you're married. Like, chill.
They have the Gospels. They don't have the Bible. They are
I love you.
treated as something that is completely, that is probably mostly or partly corrupt, which is why it cannot be trusted. They talk about it as a text that was at some point apparently revealed by Allah, but is now unrecognizable. They call it unrecognizable because their religion was created in an ignorant desert in 7th century Arabia by a merchant who turned into a warlord and a pedophile, honestly, who had no idea about anything at all. It was created by him with complete ignorance of the Bible, of the Gospel, of the beliefs of Christians and Jews. If I, as a Christian who affirm what Christ preached, what Christ told me, what Paul, the Apostle Paul, who was affirmed by the very apostles that Jesus himself directly chose.
No. Stop talking about Christianity because you're cooking yourself. None of that is true. I've been seeing there's this scholar Robin with a Y. I don't remember her last name now, but I've seen her a little bit on Bart Ehrman's channel. She argues that Paul didn't exist. It's quite a funny argument, and it's interesting actually.
What they preach, if I affirm all of those, it is upon me to call out falsehood wherever I see it, to call out evil wherever I see it. Islam is evil. He acts as if Islam is completely respectful and nice, and accuses me of insulting others. I just quoted you the Quran. It calls me the worst of creatures. I have no respect for that, and it is evil.
Now he's trauma dumping a little bit. You called me evil.
Yeah,
Apostate.
He should have kept his chill on this.
Yeah, he should have. Like, he had this in the bag, and now it's kind of tipping just a little bit towards Junior's side. But like, don't trauma dump in debates. Like, no one cares about your personal experience.
Your own wife calls you evil. Okay, so
low blow. He separated, and from what he told, I don't have his wife version, but from what he says, it was an amicable split. So, I mean,
false.
I'll just say this right now. Islam is the truth because of one statement that I made. Salvation belongs to all, every soul.
Shitty argument, like garbage argument. You've tried it many times. You got refuted on that, and you have no rebuttal. Like, if you could, so he thinks he made an argument. AP rebutted it, and he can't address the rebuttal, which he could. There are potential ways to address what AP said in response to his argument. But the conversation stops there. He just keeps reaffirming his position without addressing the rebuttal. That means you lost, Junior. You lost big time.
Every creation. God wants all of us to enter heaven. God did not reveal the Quran to say only those who believe in Muhammad and the Quran are going to go to heaven. That's not what it says.
That's what it says.
But that's what you're affirming. You can't bring evidence. You can't bring evidence because literally.
He cited you verses. Oh, boy. Now, dude, he's just now like la 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 la. This is so stupid.
If that's what the Quran said, there would be no Christians, no Jews today. There would be no other religion. You would be unable to have a conversation with me if I really saw you as one of the worst creatures. I wouldn't have sat here in front of you while you insult my people and literally say, fuck the resistance in Palestine proudly. You can't even condemn a genocide. You literally mock.
That gets you. I gave you 4 the last time. I'm going to give you 8, and they're going to get progressively bigger.
Bro, you have me blocked on X. You're a joke. You literally laugh at
No, that's it. That gets you the 16. So 6 and 8, that's 4. That, yeah, like you have me blocked on X.
of dead babies. You are not a representation of Jesus. I pray to God that the audience sees through you today and they don't ever listen to you again, because you literally have nothing to stand on Judgment Day. You only have arrogance, and if you don't get rid of that, you're never going to smell heaven, my friend. That's my point.
So my wife calls me evil, never happened. I laugh about dead babies, never happened. I insult his organization, Hamas. Yes, I do indeed, because Hamas is a terrorist organization that is called the Islamic Resistance Movement that uses the name resistance, but actually goes out on October 7. They recorded themselves. We have videos of it. I can show it to you all.
Just because Hamas committed atrocities doesn't mean they're terrorists.
That Hamas went out going from house to
Just because you commit terrorism doesn't mean that you're a terrorist. I mean, yeah, if you say so, but that gets you 6 tendings.
House with their own cameras, shooting at any walking person, elderly, child, whoever it is, and killing them, setting people on fire. We have found bodies in the streets of women stripped naked and set on fire by these bastards. It is, of course, not just Hamas that is the problem. It is the entire Palestinian society, but that's a different matter. It has nothing to do with the topic at all. But here is what has something to do with the topic. My friend here clearly knows that Islam has 5 pillars.
I'm not your friend.
That if you want to enter Islam,
you said I'm your enemy.
Go to heaven, you have to accept these 5 pillars.
And you're supposed to love me.
What is the first pillar of Islam?
Excuse me, what did you say?
What is the first pillar of Islam?
Declaration of faith in one God.
How does it go?
How does it go?
Yes.
You don't know what the shahada is?
I'm asking you how it goes. It's a rhetorical
La
question.
ilaha illallah ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah.
Can you translate that?
I thought you spoke Arabic.
It's a rhetorical question.
There is one God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Muhammad Rasulullah. I won't say the other half because if you say that, you automatically become a Muslim forever.
Don't be retarded.
Okay, so you want me to answer a rhetorical question? Are you retarded?
Yes.
So you are retarded?
Yes. Answer the question now. Go.
Oh my, Jvnior, you're spiraling the drain, my guy. Like you said, you whined like I wasn't Jesus-y enough, and now you're just, I don't know, a Redditor.
All right, so the translation of it is, I testify that there is no God but Allah, and I testify that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. You literally have to recite this in order to become a Muslim and in order to go to heaven. He knows this.
I didn't say that's what earns you salvation.
So, okay, I'm finishing it now. So, you have to make this statement in order to become a Muslim and to go to heaven. That's literally what the pillar of faith is, what the pillar of Islam is. So he just contradicted himself. There you go.
Yeah, and you can't, I mean, did I ever tell you, Isa, that one of the Salafi Wahhabis once tried to trick me into saying the Shahada, and because I don't care, I said it, and he was like, yeah, and you're now a Muslim, and it was like, oh, really? Do you want to see how Muslim I am? And I started just blasting off against Muhammad and so on. It was funny as hell. All right, this is all done. So let me see. Oh, I see someone I know there. Hello.
Oh, all right, get over here. Enough fun. All right, here we go. Let's go.
Okay. So Junior, I had a question for you. So I was curious, do you feel that Islam is pluralistic?
Dude, that shirt is so freaking cool.
In that it kind of accepts other traditions, or do you feel that Islam kind of takes the position of kind of being the chosen one, like being the correct tradition? Because these two statements could be contradictory. So like we see in like the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 62, it says that people of different faiths, if they do believe in God and they believe in the last day, they'll be protected.
I have to say, Isa got special treatment. He's the only one so far I've seen that could just grab onto the mic and ask his question. Like, it shows you how we are deep infiltrated.
So do you believe that Islam is the one true religion, or do you believe that Islam kind of takes a pluralistic stance? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great question. Islam does not take a pluralistic stance because no religion will be accepted from us except Islam. That's a Quran verse. It's not my own will.
He just contradicted himself again.
So do you see why I asked that question?
Holy cow, dude, you're a beast.
That was a smart question, right?
That was savage. Like, you just invalidated the only argument he had for 1 hour. You just killed it. That Islam is for everyone. And that's it. Like, done. Like, you know whose career is over, Junior? And it's because of Isa. It's you. You just cooked yourself so hard. Like, Basil says, Isa has a crucible thumbs up.
Right? It's not my own saying. So any religion that you follow and you think you're going to get like rewards from God for it, you won't. Islam affirms that. But it also affirms that Islam brings the truth about Jesus. Islam affirms that Jesus is the Messiah. Islam is the only religion that says Jesus is the Messiah. So when you look at Islam,
because there's 3 religions that are concerned with Jesus. Judaism, which denies Jesus being the Messiah. Christianity, which say that Jesus was the Messiah, but also he was God himself incarnate. And then Islam. Like, the Hindus don't give a fuck about Jesus. I don't know, the bunch of like very small religions of East Asia and deep in Africa, no one cares about Jesus except you 3 guys. And I don't know, to some extent, Mormonism, but I think that Mormonism is just fan fiction. I think they're talking about different people. Because, I mean, they say that Jesus came to America and hang out with the natives. It's pure nonsense.
and you consider it as bringing the truth about Jesus, what are Jesus' teachings? Love thy neighbor. Muslims love their neighbor. Sayyidina Muhammad ﷺ said in a hadith, the one who is best of you is the one.
You takfir the bunch of people who don't accept the sunnah, you contradictory dumbass.
Whose neighbor doesn't fear him. He feels safe around him. So in Islam, it's not that we want to affirm that this is the true religion, but we want to bring the truth about Jesus Christ because he's going to return. Jesus Christ is going to return in this lifetime. What's happening in Palestine is proof. I'm Palestinian. I'm coming to tell you, as a real Palestinian, I feel in my heart, I literally saw Jesus in my dream. Jesus is coming.
No. That is 1632. So 4 to that's 6 and 3, that's 90. Damn, like seriously, stop with the trauma dumping. Holy cow.
As a Muslim, I'm saying this. Doesn't this make your mind curious?
What Jesus actually teaches is I and the Father are one. Islam rejects this.
I'll get you in too, but you'll be the last one. And
all right. Oh boy, I'm so glad we don't have to deal with Jvnior anymore. Boy, is he one of the worst debaters ever. You're muted, Isa.
I think he's a legendary debater. Wow, that was just a legendary performance. I think we could really pimp his arguments. They're so good that they're so good we can't pimp them. They're just amazingly spectacular. They're not a lost cause. They're not a lost cause.
Be serious. Come on. Fuck freaking Jvnior.
They're not a lost cause.
I mean, honestly, if he weren't so arrogant that he thinks that he won that debate, I would actually invite him over for like a friendly chat. Like, dude, listen, these are all the flaws in your argument. This is something that you could do, and give him, like a little fan of options of like, okay, these are some of the potential arguments that are way better than the garbage you spewed. But I'm pretty sure that he's not even open to the idea that he just completely fumbled 2 debates in a row in the same way with like trauma dumps, right?
I mean, if I were debating as AP did make a couple mistakes.
Yeah.
AP went into his baits. So if I were AP in this debate, I would have been like, okay, we're not debating Christianity. We're debating Islam. So you might not like Christianity, but you have to prove Islam is better than Christianity. It's better than Judaism. It's better than non-religion. It's better than Hinduism. It's better than Buddhism. You got to compete Islam versus all the Dharmic traditions. You have a lot of work to do, man. You're proving it's the one true religion. You got to show it outclasses all these other religions.
Yeah.
So if I was AP, I would be like, no, we don't have to talk about Christianity. Even if Christianity is false, you still have to prove Islam is better than all its other rivals. Can you?
Yep. Exactly.
Nah, I don't think so, bro.
No, he failed really hard on that. And he like at least come prepared with, like, I don't know. I like the 3. I like to make 3 arguments, because you have like a main argument and you have 2 backups, right? Sort of, and you lay them out and you kind of see where the terrain is better, where your opponent is weaker, and you can hone in on one, but you also have like backup plans. But I don't know, maybe it's because I like to be prepared. An example of this, whenever I go DJing to a place, I have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and potentially something else in case like everything goes wrong and the people are not vibing with the ideas that I had originally. Something like radically different to what I had in mind, so that I have some bases covered in the situation. And in the debate, people should do like the same. You getting locked into one argument is so dumb that it always ends up, well, it usually ends up backfiring. Anything else, Isa? Where are you? What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'm not sure. I don't know what I'm doing yet. If I'm
All
doing
right.
anything, I'm not sure. I think.
Oh.
Huh?
I've been meaning to ask, how's your mom?
She's good.
Awesome. Love her. Basil says Plan B is now illegal in the US. All right, but you're planning. What do you usually do? Do you cook Thanksgiving like the turkey, or
no?
Oh, okay.
Not usually. I usually go out, but I don't even know how I feel because I'm not in good shape. But see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can tell I'm not feeling too well, so we'll see what goes on.
All right. Is this the same an Australian-born artist of Fiji and Indian descent based in Sydney? No, he's American.
Palestinian.
Well, Palestinian American, yeah, but he lives in the US.
That's
right?
correct.
So probably different. You should do a Thanksgiving stream on the propaganda of Thanksgiving. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. No. No, I think I'll do a stream for the people that I don't know, for those who are not in family and so on. I still don't know what I'll do, but I'll be here. To me, it's just a day of work. It doesn't have any special significance. But yeah, I thought I'll ask the peeps and see where we go from there. Jvnior, you are an embarrassment. If I was a Muslim, I would honestly be embarrassed of you, like arguing for my position like that. It's just a mess. Trauma dumping is not an argument. Getting locked into one position and repeating it over and over is also not an argument. You need to do better, like way better. All right. Isa, anything else on your mind? Any final thoughts? And we'll be on our way because it's pretty late.
Yeah, we need to go to sleep. I think Jvnior had a legendary performance. He's one of the greatest Islamic debaters I've ever seen on the platform. I think he just made profound arguments that blew my mind, literally and figuratively. And he must debate again and again.
No,
and again.
never. No, hashtag
and writing
never
the Quran,
more.
writing in the Quran, spectacular. He is the greatest debater. He rivals that of the legendary Daniel Hakikachu. It is amazing.
I mean, he could, if we had a time machine, he could stand up to the great Muslim scholars of antiquity. But no, hashtag nevermore Jvnior.
I mean, I'm just, we are impressed by the quality of Muslim debaters. They're just high caliber, high tier, and make the most profound arguments. Everyone wants to become Muslim because of their magical, powerful thinking. We are all now transformed by their wisdom. Thank you. That is my final thought, that we are transformed by the wisdom.
That was surely a lot of fun. We have so much more to review. We'll keep them, we'll dose them, we'll spread them around. But I wanted to get this one out of the way because, I mean, Jvnior was just so bad that I just wanted to get it done. Debatable D says it's Fapsoid celebrating Thanksgiving. Basil says gobble gobble. I hope all of you American friends have a great Thanksgiving. I hope that you eat a lot of food, that if you want to be alone, that you can be alone in peace. I hope that you are able to be thankful for having a good life. I know I am. I am thankful. I am extremely lucky to live the life that I live. So in a way, even though I don't know who to thank, I am thankful that life is good and it's treating me well. And it's a lot of you, because I have friends like Isa, Dr. J, because I have all of you way over there. So I am quite thankful. So even when not American, kind of celebrating because I don't work tomorrow. So before we go, make sure to do the social things, like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other, go to the corner, yes, the corner of your street, and can subscribe to Yerba Mate Talks. And that way we can share the love for the channel. Isa, always a pleasure. And everyone, will catch you on the next one. Take care. Have a great night. Don't drink too much. And have fun.